this VOD review. We've got the Hangzhou Spark against the Guangzhou Charge, which are two very hard to pronounce names, but I think I pulled it off. And interestingly enough, for Spark, we saw Adora and Rhea start a lot yesterday, but now on this first map, they're playing Bazi and Assassin, which admittedly, they did also play those in map 5 against the Chengdu Hunters, I believe. So they must just be playing on Oasis, and it's a set strat. And for the Charge, we have their normal roster, right? We have Rio and Krong, Neptuno in. So let's see how this match turns out. I have not watched this match previously, so it'll also be kind of my previous, my first impression of the game. But yeah, we have Charge running the Rhine Orisa, Mei Cree, and Annabeth, and this makes me very happy. I saw a severe lack of Mei in the last game I VOD reviewed. I think Mei is a very strong character, especially on maps like this where there's a lot of choke points, right? You have this area here, you have this area here, and then you have all this area that you walk in through. So there's a lot of choke points. I really think Mei is very, very strong on a map like this, and on most maps. And I generally kind of like this Charge comp coming out here with the double main tank and then the BAP, because the BAP has an easy time healing the double main tank. I'm not sure why they're playing the Ana over the Zenyatta, which you would normally see with the BAP. And then you've got the Mei and the Kree. I think Kree is a really strong character right now. Happy is a very good Kree. And we've got Nero on the Mei. And yeah, I think Nero is a good Mei. And on the other side, we've got Spark with a more traditional spam comp, right? This is what we've seen a lot. The Zen BAP, very strong, as I said. That's why I'm surprised why we're seeing the Ana over here. Because generally, BAP does a lot of AoE healing already. So you can go with a more DPS focused support in the Zen. And the Zen does a lot more DPS output than the Ana, obviously. He has the Discord. He has Transcendence, which is one of the best ults in the game, right? The only thing that he lacks is his healing normally, right? The healing orb doesn't do that much, but in a lot of other aspects, he's very good. Ana has the Nade and the Sleep, which are very impactful cooldowns. So that could be a reason why Charge is picking that here. But it's going to be pretty hard to get nades against this Spark comp, I feel, as well. And then we've got Godspeed going over to the Hanzo. I feel like Kree at this point, because of all the Hanzo nerfs, he does just about as much damage as the Hanzo does, right? Like DPS wise on shields and stuff. I think you pick the Hanzo for more high ground control, because he can obviously walk up high grounds really quickly. Like if Hanzo just goes up here, he'll be on this high ground in 1 second, and he'll have this angle, right? And because Hanzo's a little better at flanking, because he can go on those high grounds, and because he can lunge away when he gets pushed, right? And Kree is a little more consistent, but you can't really one-shot people with a Kree headshot, and you can one-shot somebody with a Hanzo headshot. But to me, the Hanzo feels like kind of a gamble, where if Godspeed can get a really good flank or a nice pick, Hanzo can do more. But if fights go really long, then the Kree stun is very threatening for Spark, right? If they can get close, get a Kree stun up close, because obviously they have the Rhine too, that's better. I think Charge's plan here is to get a ton of space, because they have so much shield. Rhine has 1600 shield, so he's gonna try and take a lot of this point, right? Then hold close, and then they want to pull and swing at it with Rhine, because they don't have as much spam as the Spark does, where Spark has the Sigma range damage, the Zen damage. Charge has a little bit more shield with the Rhine and a little bit more healing with the Ana, but they don't have as much damage. So I expect that the Charge is going to play very aggressive with this composition. And then when they get their Baptiste ult, right, they're going to pull Fire Strike Baptiste ult, try to get kills with that. But yeah, let's play this in .75 speed and try and go over this here. So again, you see how fast shields broke here for Charge. It's already surprising that they didn't do this pathing at the start, but they're doing it now. You see how Spark is like trying to keep their distance because they know, hey, they have a Reinhardt. Let's keep our distance, guys. Reinhardt very good when close range, very bad when long range. And a very nice pull here from Rio. Pulls 3 people into the pit, which obviously nullifies their DPS. Should give a Charge all the space. Oh! But Krong is kind of wreck-a-rooney. He gets pulled into the pit as well. Yeah, Krong might die down there. Yeah, Krong's just gonna die. Wow. What a pull from Gushue to pull Krong after them. And now, even though Guangzhou have all the space on point, right? They are still 1 down. And Spark also have the high ground with the Hangzhou, like I was saying, right? And this Hangzhou can get really good sightlines on the enemy team. Well, it's pretty hard to fire back, right? He's up here right now, but if he like uses this cover and then peeks, shoots, and then goes back in cover, it's very hard to hit him. Especially with the BAP healing there too. And again, you can't one-shot the Hangzhou because you don't have your own Hangzhou. So a Kree headshot only does 140 damage, right? Obviously does not one-shot Godsby over here. Okay. So the Spark managed to push out. Charge do get cap of point just barely, which is very, very good for them, right? At least they can start amassing percentage. It's generally like pretty hard to kill a team quickly with spam. So Charge getting that point is big, but still they're down Krong, right? So they should not win this fight. But let's see how it plays out. I've obviously not seen this match before, like I said earlier. Okay, so Nero dies really quick. And then Rio's just gonna get pushed out. I think Nero meant to like play that aggro and then go into his ice block, obviously. But he must have messed up somewhere. Have been a little too greedy, not used ice block. He uses this wall to counter the enemy melee wall. Kind of messes up because Bozzy can walk through, right? And then he just gets bursted really hard. He was 220 and now he's 0, right? So I can forgive him for not using the ice block there. That was a very quick burst. But yeah, that should seal the deal here for Guangzhou. And it just shows, like, even though they got that really good pull early on, because Krong also got pulled, and I fucked them over. That's the spawn for Guangzhou. Okay. Krong comes back in. They stall a little longer, right? But the first cap was important. Already 15% now. Rio's still alive too. So is happy. Dude, they're coming back in. What the hell? They winning this fight. Oh, no, Godsby's killing people now. Godsby said no. Eventually, this fight will get cleaned up, guys. Oh, they're still coming in. This is really good for the Charge. Like, they've gotten 30%, even though Krong got picked really early on, right? And now Shu and Krong are coming back in. Nero manages to actually pop his ice block this time. Neptuno's still there as well. He has the amplification matrix. Krong dies instantly though because of the amplification matrix coming out from IDK. That's a nice placement on that. Let's see what happened there in the slow-mo here. So yeah, the wall goes up from Nero to stay alive. He's just used ice block. Oh no, he used it now. Okay, we went too far back. Okay. Nero's in the ice block. Krong's like, I've got to help Nero out. And IDK puts down the ult. Which Krong probably still has full shield because he just got back. Let's watch this from Krong's perspective. Is he oh my god! He was 400 health and he just got one shot because of a headshot from Godsby through the Amp Matrix. So Amp Matrix doubles your damage, guys. So if the normal shot does like 250 damage, I think it is for a Hangzhou headshot fully charged, it now does 500 damage. And even with the armor that Reinhardt has, ooh, wow, that's crazy. Because they were gonna stall that fight for longer if Krong like managed to get a shield up there, right? It's gonna die pretty quick because of the Amp Matrix, but still. Anyway, still 35% for the charge here. Not bad. See if they make any swaps. Yeah, Happy swaps over to the Hangzhou himself. Not McCree. I tend to think of McCree as the more like all-rounder, right? But in the pure spam here, that's where like Hangzhou shines, right? Because he does get that one-shot potential, and he can use those walls, and he can flank. While the Kree is more against dive, right? We saw Spark actually play a bunch of like Tracer Genji comps yesterday. They haven't played it as much, or like they're not playing it now. But I remember against Chengdu, they sometimes on Ilios, they mirrored the Genji Tracer. Didn't do as well, but Charge might have expected that, right? And that's why they went Mei Kree to start with. And now they're making swaps, right? Krong is swapping over to the Sigma for the shield damage. He hasn't been getting in range of Reinhardt, so it makes a lot of sense. Shu would probably want to swap over to the Zen, but he has ultimate, so he's going to stay. And Happy is swapping over to the Hangzhou. So it's going into more of a mirror, which honestly, it's probably in Spark's favor. Because they're the ones that have the defensive advantage, right? But either way, even if they stayed on Rhine, it would have gotten really hard to get in range. Because there's obviously no Lucio speed boost, right? Who normally, you know, really synergizes with the Reinhardt. Okay. Oh. Lucio gets slapped. Oh wow. What? Where did my vision just go in the air? Whatever. Okay. So as you can see, Spark's holding pretty far back again. They know they've still got the superior spam. Because they've got the Zenyatta and the enemy team has the Ana, obviously. They're probably playing for like a Gushue ult. They're waiting for that and then they'll use it and then they'll go in, right? But there's no reason for them to like hold this close. They could hold far back, use their Mei wall when the enemy team walks in and chill. Because they're playing a spam composition. Oh, but Godspeed dies. That is very bad for the Spark here because they were in prime position to take this fight.
See through the dragon's eyes.
Okay. So Godspeed's getting pushed. He knows this. He's got to run. And then gets one shot. Oh. Oh, he just messes up. What could Godspeed have done there? I think if he had positioned a little safer, like up here, to scout the enemy team or shoot. Let's go back to him. Okay, that's not far enough back. Yeah. So he's pretty safely positioned, right? He sees Nero come across this corner. Gets a shot, misses. Goes for a second shot. He sees Krong. Misses again. So maybe he just needed to hit like one or two of those shots. Because I feel like the Mei was in like a position where you could have hit him. Right? Especially that second shot. But not a bad push in my opinion. Just needed to hit the shot at the right moment, right? But he does get picked. Which is really bad for the Charge because now Nero and Krong have this high ground. And they're obviously down their premier DPS to Hangzhou, right? He does the most damage in this comp. So let's see how Spark do play this out now. The smart idea might just be to try and dry fight this now that your main DPS is down. They don't go that route. Gushue ends up bongoing on his own over here while the Charge is fighting over here, and he's not going to get anyone in the bongo. I think this is a very bad bongo because his team's so far out. And Godspeed's down. He does go and fight Nero. Nero gets chunked the hell out of him. So gets nanoed, right? Gonna be a trade for ults now. Really kill this bongo. Nice. Yeah, that bongo value is very low. think Bongo is, well, I've said this a lot of times, but I think Bongo is one of the best ultimates in the game. With Bongo, a 50% damage boost to everyone, right? So if you like can't get value out of that, that's very bad in my opinion. Because now Rio's Bongo should do a lot more. Okay, so what happens now? Bozzy pops his ult as well. So what I said about the Spark maybe not using all their ults this fight, you know, and using them for the retake and baiting ults from Charge, that's out the window now. Even though they lost Godsby early on, they still want to commit. Which, oftentimes you can win fights 5v6, right? But they were in a really bad spot here, where their team was over here, Guxiwei was alone, and the enemy team at the high ground. That's very hard to see mid-game as a player, but with the power of hindsight, guys, we can say that they possibly should have saved ults. Like, even though this Mail's great, right? It froze 3 people. Just because Godsby's dead and now, you know, Bozzy's dead as well, there's just not that much damage. So Happy pops off. See how that happens. So Bozzy frozen the ult. He's right. Oh my god. Happy predicts where Bozzy's gonna go. Waits for him. Kills him. Very nice play there by Happy. Big fan. And then takes out Bebe as well with just Storm Arrow spam, right? But the only one that could really reach that Mail was Bozzy himself. Maybe if Bebe had popped Trank as well, he could have possibly won this fight. They're not in that bad of position. Godsby's back now. Spark's still doing decently here, even though that Mail got low value. It stalled the enemy team, right? And Nero died, sadly, with Mail against Guxiwei. Which, while he was nano too. I wonder how that happened. What? He's just getting shot at. Guxiwei is on the flank. What? I need to see this. How does Guxiwei get on the flank? So he got his Bongo killed, I guess. So Guxiwei gets his Bongo killed. Right here. He uses his Fortify too. So he goes and drops. All this is going on. Assassin and Bozzy are both using their ults, right, to stall the enemy team. Nano runs out on Nero. And then Guxiwei on the flank. I feel like Nero really should have been aware that this was going to happen. Because he just saw Guxiwei drop, right? Oh my god. Guxiwei with the DPS. Did he have his ice block? Oh, he had his ice block too. Oh no. That's a shame. Oh, he had his ice block. That's bad. Nero should have lived there 100%. He should have known that that flank was coming too, I think. And then Spark have now retaken the point completely. They also still have the Trank. Bebe's still dead. But if Bebe can come back in. Because Nero had mail. So if he managed to mail some people there, like in the main here, like Bozzy did, I think they just win that fight outright. Spark's in a very good situation. Now they used a bunch of ults that fight. Like their best ults, right? Orisa, Sigma, and Mayult, all very, very good ults, right? But if you look at the Charge, they don't have that many ults. They only have the Mayult and the Bongo, which Bongo is really good. So if Charge can get a good Bongo this next fight, that'd be sick. But in that fight, wasn't clean from either team. Godsby dying early on really should have punished the Spark harder than it did. That's why we're doing like a... This time, Godsby's playing a lot safer, you guys see? He knows that the flank is coming now. He's going to give up that space because obviously he cannot fight both Krong and Nero together. But this is where, you know, Bazi and Assassin are on the other side. So now they can push Happy. Because, you know, if you put resources in the right side of the map with your Sigma Mei there, then you're not going to have them in the left side of the map, right? So what Guangzhou is doing, they see, hey, Spark is weak on the right side. This high ground is very, very good. Like, this high ground is really good, like I've talked about earlier, right? You've got this cover over here. So Spark see, hey, or Charge see, sorry. Hey, we're taking this right side of the map because only Godsby's here, right? We can push the Hanzo out very easily. We have a Sigma shield that can just block him. And then while Sparks see that, they're like, hey, the enemy team has 4 left. Let's push out with our own Sigma Mei synergy, right? Our own Sigma Mei combo. And push out the right side. So you kind of see a flip here, right? Like a rotation that's happening. And Happy here is very far forward. He should probably die here, yeah. So Happy should have realized, hey, my team is very strong on the right side of the map right now. But we're not going to have any resources here. So I have to watch out. And he gets eviscerated. Just like Godsby did earlier, right? Just trying to get a little too much on his own. And now that completely screws the charge over. Because they have Bongo and stuff. Like, they're in good position to, like, finally retake this point again. Okay. So Nero comes in with the mail. He has to use it, right? Because it's last fight. I even like this ult. He's basically solo ulting Assassin here. And forcing Bazi's cooldown out as well. But that is really worth it in my opinion. Like, just because they're 1 down especially. Oh, but then the Trank comes out and the Hanzo ult. So they have to back out. But that's okay, right? Trading your Mei ult for them being in a position where they might not want to be. And having to use the Trank and the Hanzo ult. Great trade for the charge here. And now Rio comes in with the Bongo, right? So if this Bongo lives for a while, the Spark is definitely winning this fight. But if Spark turn on it and kill it fast, that would be a very big waste of the Bongo, right? Because you see how little resources the charge still have over here. Thank you for the follow, Harris. But yeah, you see how little resources the charge still have over here. It's just Rio basically, because the rest is getting zoned out. Nobody else is getting the Bongo. You've got Krong over here on a side flank, which is good, right? This is what you want to do with Sigma because you have your personal shield. But not too much value is coming from this Bongo just yet. So if Spark can turn on this and kill it fast, that would be ideal, right? So Rio puts a shield in front of it. They're not really going for it, which I think they could have. I think with Bebe Trank, Gushui could have walked on this Bongo and tried to kill it. He might not have Fortify anymore, right? He doesn't have it. But I think Bongo is such a good ult that if you let it live here, you're going to lose this fight. I don't know why Rio is walking in when he could just be shooting Assassin right now. That seems... Oh, he had to touch the point. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah, Rio had to go and touch the point. That's the threat of overtime, right? Now he goes and backs out a little bit again. So he definitely wanted to go and shoot Assassin there. And you see how much that Bongo did? Assassin insta died, right? So that's what I was saying earlier. Maybe if the Spark had actually turned on the Bongo there very quickly, they could have went and killed it. They're going for the flank on the Bongo now. But it might be too little too late, right? Assassin's already dead. Oh, and they're not even shooting the Bongo. This thing lasts for 20 seconds and gives everybody a 50% damage boost, guys. 50%. That's like a nano boost for everybody, but no damage reduction, right? Imagine if everyone in the team had nano boost. Nero comes in, starts freezing Gushui. He obviously doesn't have Fortify yet. He doesn't get the bongo thing from here, actually. That's a big deal. But still, he is getting a lot of value. The Charge should win this fight from here. Oh, Nero dies to Bebe, but still gets frozen over here. Dude, what a fight so far. Oh, okay. So, Bebe dies eventually. You sure, right? He was still in there low because he got frozen. And Charge finally retake this point. And they do a pretty good job of not using too much, right? Like, they didn't have that many ults, obviously. But Spark ended up using their Trank, their Hangzhou ult, and their Baptiste ult. And all Charge used was their Mei ult and their Bongo. So overall, that fight was like pretty good for the Charge. I think because Happy died, especially early on in that fight, it's very surprising that Spark couldn't like capitalize on that and win that fight. But I think it was all because of that good Mei ult from Nero, right? That forced the Spark to like be in a bad spot. And then the Bongo came out, which killed Assassin. Also, Krong had really good positioning on the high ground here for that whole fight, where you can basically shoot the whole point and not be contested. Because what's going to contest him, right? Normally you want a Mei to contest the enemy Sigma, because you can freeze him while he like puts down his shields, etc. But your Mei's not going to go walk up there. There's no way. So Krong was free. Okay, so Spark now get their retake. Happy uses ult very early on. This is a combo you'll see constantly. It's the pull plus Hangzhou ult combo. It's very, very strong. It forces reactions from the enemy team, and mostly it will force the Baptiste drone, right? Which is good because Baptiste drone is nerfed and it now has a 25-second cooldown. And it will force the enemy team to be very low HP. So we see Happy over here using it with the pull. Baptiste drone comes out. And IDK probably should not die to this. Yeah, they're good. But again, it forces a lot of cooldowns. This Baptiste drone now has a 25-second cooldown. And that is a cooldown that you're not going to have for a while, right? And you want to retake this pretty quickly, being the Spark. Because otherwise the enemy team is eventually going to keep spamming you and get a pick, right? Let's see what happens here. Kind of sitting there waiting for their cooldowns, healing up, right? Gushui needs Fortify if he wants to walk in. That cooldown is mandatory. And we've got, this time, we've actually got something different than we've had before, right? Whenever we saw the Charge retake, they would angle for this high ground very hard. But now we see that the Spark is actually sending their Sigma Mei combo to the right side here. Which is interesting, right? I think Sigma also does very good on the high ground. But I'm not going to say it's wrong. Because what this just allows to do, it's a more straight up duel for these two. And that could actually be really good for Bazi. Because Bazi has this Mei ult. So if he could get a good Mei ult on the enemy team Sigma, who obviously can't get out very easy, it could be very good for them, right? Maybe Godspeed can go and contest Happy up here, because he's pretty free right now. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. Be a Hangzhou duel here. Oh, you got to see him. Yeah. And Krong then ults. But what's Krong going to ult? What is Krong going to ult? Oh, he goes and ults Godspeed. But Happy is going away from Godspeed. So this is very strange. I think if you're going to ult the Hangzhou, you've got to like put pressure on him, right? With your own Hangzhou. Happy goes back up. Godspeed's like, I've got the high ground. Oh, and he does end up getting him. So I think that's actually a pretty good move from Krong and Happy there. To like use that ult very early on and only getting one guy. I've said this before, right? But I think that's very, very worth. Especially in the start of a fight. Because it just makes a 6v5. And 6v5s in Overwatch professional play are very hard to win. like I think there's like a statistic, but the best teams win like 90% of the 6v5s they get, right? Okay, so as we said, we've got Bazi walked up here. They end up forcing Nero's ice block too, and they mailed very aggressively. This is really good, right? It forces Shu's Trank. Is a good ult to force out there. And Happy picks Bazi now. So Happy having this high ground is now killing people. Nice shot on Bazi. Yeah, that happened. How that happened? Oh, very nice shot there. And again, this is all due to that solo ult, right? That they did earlier on Godsby. Just to secure this high ground. And now they've killed both DPS. Assassin ends up dying too. Because his best buddy, right? Bazi's dead. You always see the Sigma and Mei kind of play together with the Orisa on his own. I think that's strong until you play against Reinhardt. When against Reinhardt, you really need your Mei to stay with your Orisa more. But just in the mirror, I think that's a good move. He's crying. Okay, so Charge end up winning the map. It's a Charlie. I am loyal and I'm here for both of you. Welcome, Huzawatsi. I'm trying to go a little more in depth today because I have a bunch of time right before the matches actually start today. They start at 10 my time, and it's only 6:30 right now. But yeah, came here for some learning before OD. Nice. Are OD bans the same as AL bans right now? So what we're seeing here is a big difference in style, actually. A massive difference in style. So Charge rolls out on Rain, Diva, Anna, Brig, Maykree. And I feel like what this is, guys, this is... Okay, so right now, in Overwatch League, I kind of feel like there's like 5 or 6 comps played, right? But in general, it's rock, paper, scissors right now. And what happens is Charge is playing a very anti-dive comp. And the free comps are like dive, spam, and deathball, right? And what I see from Charge is they're playing the deathball comp, which I think is very good against the Genji Tracer that Spark showed yesterday. But Spark's got an ace up their sleeve. They're not showing that comp right now. And actually, on this map as well, whenever they've played Bazi, they haven't played any of that. Bazi's been basically a mage one trick for them. But what I'm seeing from Charge is this is a very close range point. So if you can get your Ryan in close range and in swinging range, he's going to be really strong, right? But Spark is playing more of a spam and long range comp. So if they can keep distance between them and Charge, they have a massive advantage. So I feel like what the Charge want to do is take this high ground ASAP, take away all the space from the enemy team, and win that way. And what Spark want to do is just keep distance between them and the enemy team. They're eventually going to kill the shield and they're going to win. Right? Because they have Orisa Sigma, which is a lot of damage coming from tanks. And Charge have the Rhine, which is a lot of damage if you're close range. And they have the Ana, who's supposed to nano boost the Rhine. And they want to play off Mei walls. So it's Bazi's job to like protect the Orisa now, which I think is very important. And it's Rio's and the Charge as a whole's job to get in close range. And I think this is actually a really interesting matchup right now, which I think we'll see a bunch more this weekend as well, right? Because we've only had one day. Okay, so Rio's up in the corner right now. He's getting spammed very hard, right? This is what I was saying. This is a spam comp. But at the end of the day, if they don't kill Rio, this is okay. Because Charge over here, one, they're getting the point right now. And two, they have Nano Boost. Or they're like farming Nano Boost, right? And once they have Nano Boost, the rank can go very aggressive with it. This is really interesting so far.
The objective is now active.
They're trying to regen some shield, but Godsby climbed on top of the wall. Rio shielded off by the wall. Very nice wall there from Bazi. Okay. So you see here the Mei is actually going on the Sigma in Assassin. But while that's all going on, Rio dies. Assassin does also end up dying, so it's a 1-for-1 for now. But I would say the Sigma is more or less mandatory than the Rhine is for the two respective comps they're playing. So that's a good trade for Spark. Because now, like, Charge obviously don't have an anchor tank on point, right? Happy does end up going on the high ground, which is obviously very good positioning for the McCree, right? He was also there. They end up killing Gushue because he's very far up. What happens to you, Gushue? You go fortify. Your shield is getting kind of wrecked here. Oh, he gets walled. Really nice wall here from Nero. Like, this is really what you want to do with your Mei, right? If you're playing like the more rushy comp. Get really good walls on the enemy tanks. Try to kill them. Thank you for the follow, Fish Can't Life. I would assume your name is Fish Can't Live, but... Big win, man. Okay. So they end up killing Gushue, and Happy also picks IDK in the backline here. And this is generally really good for Charge, because with Spark, it takes a very long time to set up their poke, right? To set up their poke damage, to like have flanks, have everybody be set up, spam the, you know, the enemy Rhine shield from multiple angles. So it's going to be very hard for them to retake because of all this setup that their comp requires. While Charge, I feel like once they win a fight, they can just hold corners and they can go really aggressive whenever Nero gets a good Mei wall, right? Like we saw earlier, he got this really good Mei wall on the enemy Orisa, which signed his death warrant. So I kind of feel like Assassin dying early on there was a mistake. He overextended a little bit, didn't expect the damage coming out. And that kind of like gave Nero the opportunity to get another really good wall, right? See, Bazi's actually found up a lot of Mei Charge. He's actually been really good with his right click accuracy on Mei. But yeah. Let's see how Spark actually ends up retaking this. And I've said this so many times, but just first fights on Koff are so important. Because what Spark can do is just take a little bit of damage, farm their nano, and outright win the second fight with just nano boost, right? And then they've still got the point ticking. Well, it's going to be very hard for Spark to retake. Because generally what you want to do to counter defender's advantage, it's to use ults, right? And you know, even out the fight that way by using more ults than the enemy team, because you now have to retake. Because if you look at Charge's positioning, they can take wherever they want on the map now. But Spark have to like walk on point, right? They have to cap the point eventually. So Charge can decide where they take the fight, and you want to take out that defender's advantage by using more ults than the enemy team, generally. But as you can see, Spark don't have more ults than the enemy team right now. So this next fight is also very much in favor for Charge. Okay, so as you can see again, Nero and Rio playing together. This is good. I expect once Gushue or Assassin walk up too far, they'll try and get a wall and then instantly go in with Nano Boost, because they do have that now. And Nano Boost is a really strong ult for this Reinhardt composition. It's kind of, I feel like that's kind of what it's based around. Who gets pulled? He is fine. Generally, Krong wants to eat these pulls, right? Oh, what? Rio just dies? What? What just happened? Wait a second. Rio, what's going on? Okay, so he has full shield. He's discorded. Shu just got pulled, so he might not be getting the healing right now, right? They're talking about nano boost. really wants to get in there and get that nano boost out. And he just overextends with his fire strike and dies. That's bad. I also feel like they could have been more ready for the enemy team to walk in, right? But they probably didn't expect it. So a mistake from the charge there is very costly, because once they lose the point, it's really hard to retake here on this map. They do get the wall off they want, right? Like Assassin's walled off, but the Rhines didn't. Now the Hangzhou ult comes out. Who gets pulled. And I think Charges kind of want to stall here. They're using the nano boost on the Diva too, but it's gonna be hard for Krong to like. Oh, he almost gets Godsby. But again, it's hard for Krong to get too much because Spark still have a lot of cooldowns up. Happy goes in for the flank with the High Noon. There's a shield in front of his face. Can't do too much. Nero also uses ult. So this is one thing that the Charge now have been doing for 2 maps straight, where they lose a guy and then they still use other ults to try and clutch out the fight. It's a style, right? And this is what Shock even did last season. They like tried to clutch out on nearly every fight. And I think it's better than like taking dry fights, because I think taking dry fights is really bad in Overwatch. And a dry fight is where you use no ults in a fight, right? Because you think you're gonna lose. Because the Charge using ults here also forces the Spark to use ults, which is generally pretty good for them. Especially if they can stall point with it. And they actually get a lot of picks because they have a lot of angles here. And Spark's splitting up very hard. Let's see how all those picks happen, guys. So we know Krong was going really aggro on Godsby. Let's watch his POV. He gets nano. Does a lot of burst, Diva does so much damage. Okay. He gets demeched. And then Godsby hasn't been getting healed. He's still 1 HP. And he just takes him out. Oh! He's going in. Yeah. Dude, Godsby didn't get healing for so long there. The Mayout comes out, so he has to dodge it. He obviously wanted to go back to his team, right? And then Happy kills Bazzi, because he's on a nice flank here. Really good at flanks, right? Gets contested by Assassin at first, and I feel like Assassin could keep contesting him and make sure he doesn't do anything. Ooh. And then Bazzi gets double tapped because he just runs at him in a straight line. And Assassin kind of goes back to contesting him. Yeah, fight's still kind of even, right? Because Nero also died while this was going on because of the Baptiste ult. But this is all good for the Charge, because Rio's about to come back in. Let's see where he is right now. Oh, he's already back in. And they have the point still, so they don't necessarily need to do too much. Ooh. Too nearly dead. Happy still on his little Happy off angle. Oh, is he gonna get dealt with? That was close. I wonder if Assassin had rocked it or not. If he could have rocked him? No, he didn't. Okay. But yeah. Ushuaï gets focused very hard. But he is Fortify, which makes him not get stunned by Neptuno, right? How much damage Rio takes again? He's just gonna die to this, isn't he?
Boosters engaged.
Or Rio. Getting bullied by Discord. Are they finally gonna win this fight? Godsby dies to Nero, who swaps the Tracer. It's a mess. Krong's still alive. He's gotten his remake. Nero ends up dying finally. So Spark end up taking the point, which is very good for the Spark right here, right? Charge has gotten 82%, but if you actually look at the ult bank in general, I feel like the Charge ults, they're good, right? Shadow's a good ult, Diva ult's a really good ult, Ana ult's decent, right? But the best ults, I feel like, are Rally, which they're not even close to. They used late in that last fight to try and clutch it out. And if you can see the Spark here, they have the Trank, which can counter the Shatter really hard, right? And they have the Bongo, which if they can get good Bongo positioning, which they should be able to on a defense like this, that could do wonders for them. And now they're going to swap to more of a spammy comp. The Brig is obviously very hard to get in range of the Spark. So he decides to swap over to the Baptiste, which does more range damage. Pretty interesting swap. And they've got the Mei Hanzo now. Still, they don't have as much shield damage or spam as the Spark. So they're still going to have to get close and like fight. Right? They still have the Reinhardt. So Nero comes out with wall. It's a decent wall. It doesn't really block anyone off though. Guangzhou goes to 1 HP though. Doesn't end up popping his Fortify though, which is good, right? You want to hold on to that as long as you can as the Orisa player. So nice play from Guangzhou there.
Nerf this.
And aggressive Diva Bomb from Kron. Triggers everybody to split up, right? But it doesn't get anyone, which is key.
Cease your resistance.
Guangzhou comes in with Bongo. I think that's good positioning. It's very hard to push. And they still have the point. Ooh, this pull wasn't great. Rio comes in, he gets nanoed. But because of Bongo, you see how much damage Rio takes even though he's nanoed. Happy takes out IDK while all this is going on though.
Defense mode activated.
But they didn't get big value from that Bongo. I feel like they could or should have gotten more. How does Godspeed get taken out? Oh wait, who gets taken out? Happy. This is a nice off angle. Wow, what is that shot? Need to dot 25 on that one. Oh, wow. That's an insane shot on ADK there. He threads the needle.
Defense mode activated.
Sora's analysis. Yeah.
Into the iris.
Baby ends up tranking. But that at one down, right? And they've already used their best ult, I think. Bongo. Rio ults, but he gets pulled up. So he gets countered by both Fortify and Ice Block. But he did get both Fortify and Ice Block. Ozzy ults. It doesn't get eaten by Krong, which maybe Krong could have eaten that. See here. Wrong.
Into the iris.
Oh, he tried to eat the Hanzo ult, and then he doesn't have Matrix for the male. That makes sense. That's a pretty good male, right? They were backed up in a corner. You needed to do something. Because if they lose this fight, it's going to be very hard to retake. But yeah, they do end up losing this fight, and it was mostly due to the Happy flank, I feel. Like, Happy picking IDK there is a big deal, because IDK is most of the healing on the comp. Zen doesn't do as much healing, obviously. Now Spark's in desperation mode. They have to swap to let's go touch characters.
Overtime.
Guangzhou not having a good time against Nero's Mei right now. Nero's Mei's walls have been very good, in my opinion. They have to be when you play Reinhardt. Oh, is he gonna get frozen? He's not gonna get frozen. He got out. Happy ends up killing IDK with his ult. And I mean, at this point, Spark just has to like stagger in, right? It didn't get much value out of the Sigma ult. So if Charge just keeps up good target focus here, even though they're all low, they should outdamage the enemy team. We should have a nice double boot tech there. Doesn't end up saving them. And Charge take the first map. In a very dominant fashion, actually. I thought that they had a good understanding of how to retake. Like, especially on University, where it's generally, like, pretty hard to retake, right? They did a good job of taking space and winning the fight that way. And then even on this last map, like, Spark tried to clutch out a lot of fights with ults, right? They, like, kept losing... Or no, Charge kept losing one guy, and then they ended up like splitting up and getting their own picks just by nice individual plays, and ended up winning like a lot of like long fights that way. Thank you for the follow, Micro. Okay, well, let's see what's going on here. Both teams are playing a very spam comp right now, right? This is what I've been saying. I think this is a really strong comp right now because there's no Lucio speed, so it's very hard to get your Rhine in there. And especially on a really long map like Dorado, like you see how far this is and how long this is, and there's a lot of high ground everywhere. So that comp that Charges played with the Rhine, it's really hard to get in range of the Orisa and the Sigma. And you have to have like very good pathing while mirroring. Oftentimes, especially with like the not as much practice that the out teams get, is a lot better in certain maps. If you just have the better play of the composition, oftentimes you can do better than the enemy team, right? In that way. So it's gonna be a mirror, and in this mirror, what I think is really important is one, the Maywall usage, right? Actually, what's really interesting here, and what I want to talk about, is that now that this is map 2, right? 1, Bozzy's been subbed out for Adora, which they are playing the same comps, so it's interesting to me. But maybe it's because Adora is a little more flexible, right? We've seen Adora on the Genji and stuff. But they haven't swapped out Assassin or Rhea, which makes me think that Assassin is really their Sigma player, you know? And Rhea is like maybe the flex to Diva. And Spark is shown to be like pretty flexible in the comps. Yesterday they were playing the Rhine, Diva, Maycree, which we just saw Spark play, right? Against the Chengdu. And that was a very good adaptation against the Chengdu dive comp, which I think the dive comp is really good into the Spark comp right now, right? Anyway, let's continue. So, and then Charge hasn't made any roster swaps. So yeah, a very long map, very long sideline, so it's very hard to get in range as Reinhardt. And generally, I've liked the way that Krong and Neptuno have played together, right? We've seen Bozzy and Assassin play together too. But now it's Assassin and Adora. So that swap coming in is interesting. But we know this series is going to go the distance. Probably some good play coming out from both teams. But yeah, the most important parts here are the way you use your cooldowns, right? The way you use your Orisa shield, your Sigma shield, and your Baptiste drone. And your Maywall. And what's also very important is the way your Hanzo plays, right? Does your Hanzo go for more of a centered style where he spams the enemy team's shield? Or does he go for a more flanky style where he tries to get picks? I think both are really interesting. Both can be good on various points of the map. And what you'll generally see is that you'll see this 4 stack of people play together. And then you'll see the Mei and the Sigma go together on flanks, right? Because both of them are very good close range. Sigma doesn't have that much range. Mei is obviously better when she freezes people. But this stack is very long range, as you guys can see. So if they would be playing against a Reinhardt composition, they would probably only have the Sigma off angle, or they'd be 6 stack just to get the spam in. But now that they're in a mirror matchup, where both teams are playing the Orisa and the Sigma, you'll see the Mei and the Sigma go together, and then the other parts of the team 4 stacking. So I think that's a really interesting thing teams have been adapting and doing in this spam mirror, because obviously both the Orisa and the Sigma have a shield, right? So you can kind of split up your resources there. You can see the Charge take over this high ground. This is a very strong high ground, and again they're kind of swapping up their resources. Oh, Happy gets pulled though. Hello, Rusty Thunder. How are you doing? That's a nice Winston emote. Let's see how Happy gets pulled here. Oh, he's just sitting around the corner. I guess the pull came out here. Or yeah, he's Sonic Arrowed, right? So they can see him with the Sonic Arrow in a sec. Now they can see him, right? So Happy walks up, and then because he's been seen by the Sonic Arrow, wow, that goes far. He even saw it coming. You see how far this pull is? Does Happy still have lunge? Yes, he does. So what you want to do as Hangzhou generally, when you're getting pulled, you'll either want to lunge before the pull goes off, or you'll want to lunge after you've been pulled in. Because if you lunge mid-pull, it actually doesn't do anything and you get stuck. Oh no, but Happy lunges the wrong way. And he lunges out of the window. And then he dies. Not like this. Okay. You're doing good. How am I? I'm also good. Doing a little bit more of an analysis today. Even though I haven't seen these matches right. I know these matchups, so what's important, etc. Hello, Hydros. Hello, Cabamas. How are you guys doing? So, Happy actually lunges the wrong way. Ends up dying. I don't know what messed him up there, but that is good for the Spark. And now they have to set up all over again, right? Because they're one guy down. So if they get pushed, they're kind of screwed. You've still got Assassin and Adora playing together. Maybe they could play a little further up so that if the enemy team walks in, they could wall them. But I'm sure they'll move up as they see the enemy team move in, right? Again, good Scout Arrow positioning. They'll scout people here and here. Very important cooldown Scout Arrow. And we continue. Oh my god, what are these pulls, dude? They keep getting pulled. Is he gonna die? He's gonna die. Dude, Gushue with some advanced pulling techniques. Pulling people from Africa into the window here. Again, he must have gotten seen by the Scout Arrow that was out. Yes. So very important Scout Arrow here, as you guys can see. And Shu does not notice, so he goes for a right click in the window, but he's been Scout Arrowed. And then the pull of a century, dude. This is a sick pull. Pulls him outside. Wow, they're just pulling him around the corner. And now Shu dies. So they have to wait again. It's been 2.5 minutes, or 1.5 minute now. There's 2.5 minutes left. And without the Zen, you just don't do as much damage, right? Ooh, a bad shield there from Assassin forces Adora to actually shift. I know your shift forced out isn't great, but Nero didn't have his wall up, so it's okay. And now they're just waiting. It's the waiting game. It's been basically 2 minutes of their time now. Ooh, Happy almost gets picked. So this is what I've been saying, right? As the Hangzhou, you can either play more of the team-focused Hangzhou, where you're with the team, you spam away the enemy shield, and you generally take space, right? Or you can play the flank-heavy Hangzhou, which Happy is doing right now. And if he can get a pick, it's big worth, right? Just getting that one guy and then getting out is really good. But it is a hard commit. Like, look at how long this flank is. Look at how long it'll take for him to get back to his team if he wants to. So he has to, like, commit to it now. So IDK starts to duel him. and he forces Happy away. So Happy is to go all this way around, and this is generally really good for the Spark, right? Because they still have their Hangzhou centered with their team, so they can spam away shields a lot more effective. Happy's back now though. They come out with the Baptiste ult and the pull. Generally, when you Baptiste ult, you want to like combo things with it, right? So you see how Guangzhou's starting to hide here. They are comboing the pull with it. They're going to combo damage with it. And likely what teams do a lot as well is that when they're doing these kind of pulls, they'll also try to Mei wall off the enemy retreat. So we'll see if Adora goes for that too now. He's obviously in a spot where it's pretty hard to get that wall off, but he could go for it. He does not end up going for it. And the enemy team doesn't get picked from the Baptiste ult. So that's good. Nero didn't wall it off, so that makes it extra good. Rio's very close up. Wow, and so is Gushui. They're going hard. And then Godsby kills Happy. So let's see how that happens. How that happens. Oh, so Happy's going for another flank. But I guess Godsby's onto him. Wow. Wow, that was a nice shot. Holy moly. Dude, he didn't even know he was there. He doesn't know because he just shot the scout arrow over there. So how is he supposed to know? He doesn't. He just has the arrow ready when going around the corner. And he just flicks it so nicely. Happy also shoots him, but Happy only gets a body shot. Godsby gets the headshot. Wow. That's a really good pick. Adora comes in with a good mail. Gets Shu. Zen is a really good target. He can't easily escape your Mei ults. And Godsby also kills Neptuno. That will seal up the fight. Again, nice fight there from Spark. They only used the Mei ult and the Baptiste ult. And this hold from them has been great. I like the way that they've been positioning, right? They've had Adora and Sassing holding this right side. And then they've had the rest of the team centered around the market area here. And using Gushui's pulls in this window to try and get picks. They've gotten 2 of that, so very good hold from them.
Unfortunate.
Nero goes in for the flank, but I mean he's alone. Nero almost gets Bebe too, but doesn't get him. And now this is really where Charge has to step up and start winning fights. Oh my god, Happy gets picked again. Oh, we. Dude, Godsby's had his number. So Happy's just kind of walking up alone. This is very undisciplined. Like, this death was completely preventable, right? You see those deaths with the pull plus shot in the window, and you think like, Allah, you know? Like, you know, that happens. But this kind of death is just not good discipline from the Charge. Yeah, Happy just kind of walks up alone. Gets killed. Probably didn't expect the Spark to be there, but that was a very bad death. Now they have to wait again. And it's been 3 minutes, and I feel like they've only basically had one fight. But yeah. Good play by Spark so far. Neptuno, or Nero, and Krong are going to go ahead and push cart.
60 seconds remaining.
Which is smart, right? Because if the enemy team comes, they can wall them off right here. And Spark are holding this high ground for a very long time. Not sure why. Hello, Nero's still pushing cart. Okay, so did you end up killing Shu? It's great for them. Given that they can stop Nero. They pull rock Shu, I guess. It's a very good Orisa Sigma combo. If you're duoing rank with a Sigma, then pull plus rock. What is this pull? Yeah, pull plus rock is very strong. It's kind of like pull plus hook, but then long range, right? Because the rock is very easy to hit on the Orisa pull, and it stuns them for up to 3 seconds, I believe. You see how long she was down there? Rio didn't have the shield anymore because he'd used it earlier. Guys, let's go back to this pool again.
60 seconds remaining.
Rio just wasted his pull. Not like, yeah, they like kind of pulled him over the May wall. Nice pull. The pull rock, guys. Very strong combo. Neil, while that's going on, Nero's still pushing cart though. The Spark is gonna go and back up to try and deal with Nero. But Nero has to back out now. Obviously, they're down people again. It's rough. Very rough. Okay.
30 seconds remaining.
So, basically from one fight, now Charge only have one push left. They have a lot of ults build up though. So this last fight is going to be very interesting, I think. Please don't get picked again.
Cease your resistance.
Okay, so Gushua ends up putting his Orisa ult down first. This is very smart in my opinion, because the enemy team only has 15 seconds left, and Orisa ult lasts 20 seconds, guys. So Charge is basically going to have to walk into this Orisa ult, which obviously boosts the team by 50%. Charge kind of wants to wait it out though, which is probably smart move, but this takes a lot of time, which they don't really have. So the ult runs out, right? Maybe it only lasts 15 seconds. I don't know. Anyway, the ult eventually runs out, but now Rio is forced to stay cart. A wall comes out from both sides, and pull dragon again. Godsby and Ushue combining these ults, or these cooldowns. They pull Krong back in, and they kill Krong with pull dragon. So really nice pull dragon there. They solo ult. Oh no, they ult both Neptuno and Happy in here, but they're gonna be fine. There's a lot of cover there, and Q ends up ulting too, and then Nero dies to Assassin over here. So the combo of Adora and Assassin's been really effective this map. And now, even though Charge Bongo, right, they're already 2 people down, so they're not likely to win this fight anymore. Yeah, they just C9. I mean, it's not really a C9 since they were just gonna lose that anyway, but kind of a C9, a semi 9. Okay, so now let's look at the Spark attack. And generally, one that was a really well played defense from the Spark. They made very little mistakes, but it was a very undisciplined attack from the Charge. They got picked over and over again. Didn't really get anything going, and then they had to like hold their ults until the very last second, when it's very hard to go into that fight and rush the cart and win fast. Spam is a very slow comp. You need to take space slowly, and they just didn't have the time to set all their stuff up like they have been doing earlier, right, on that Oasis University. They did a very good job setting their own stuff up. Okay, so now it's Charge's turn to play the spam defense. Let's see how Spark plays this attack. So again, they play the same style where Assassin and Adora will go right side. Generally you want to do this because they're very close range, right? And have kind of 4 stack playing together with the Orisa. So Charge backs out. Look at how far this car is to be. This car is to be pushed like nowhere. Yeah. Scout arrow comes out. Rio or Adora and Assassin now take the high ground over here. This is pretty smart, right? Because these guys can't really get pulled because of the shield that's in front of them. They're likely to go inside, like right side now, and try to go for a flank maybe. But generally, Spark is like 6 stacked right now, just shooting enemy shields. Right, Rio has to go contest here. Rio just wasted his fortify, I'm pretty sure. Wait, let's see. Oh no, he still has it. It's just the charge color that's throwing me off. Okay. Generally, like Art is like really defensive right here, right? They've already used their drone somehow. Maybe just to mitigate spam. And IDK is already up to 83% on his ult. He's done a very good job of just farming it somehow. Guess their tanks took damage. He was able to heal it very effectively. Rio's, has he used Fortify now? I don't see the spark. Okay, so he's using it now. So this spark color is apparently, or this charge color is apparently we're using Fortify. Comes in with another shield. But I think what Spark was doing a lot better than the charge was right now is that Krong or like Adora and Assassin were holding space way more demanding than Krong and Nero are doing right now. Like Krong and Nero are kind of like holding back here, while I think you can hold all the way up here, you know, if you play it properly. So even though they're kind of like winning it or like fighting it now, maybe they could have done that earlier, because now Rio's already getting pressured the shit out of, right? They get a good wall here though. Nero gets a nice wall. Dora might die here. Gets his ice block forced. But again, Rio's been getting fucked over here. Been having a contest. Yeah. Just the Shu is very far back right now, so it's hard for him to do damage. I don't even know where Happy is. Okay, he's over here. He's farming a lot of ult. But this is also given IDK ult, right? So, let's see if IDK just comes in with ult now. Yes, he does. Gusho is probably going to pull the enemy team into the ult. Okay, so he doesn't have pull yet. So that's a minor error, right? You always want to have the pull when you Baptiste ult. And eventually, Adora and Sassy just win the 2v2 over here. Wow. Wait, so how did Nero die there? Because I feel like they were doing a good job in that 2v2 so far. Now Assassin gets traded. Both teams use Bapple. But again, Rio's not having a good time. He has had to contest cart constantly. Neptuno ends up dying. And you see how Spark's like way more together and way more pressure, while Charge is kind of all over the place, which is okay, right? If they can get picks while doing that. But they have not been able to. And they end up just pushing the cart in.
Victory.
I wouldn't even call that a C9, because if Rio went to contest, he'd just die in half a second. Because Spark were playing so well together. And that was just a really well executed map from the Spark. And pretty sloppy from the Charge overall. Thank you for the follow, Rondo. Okay. Map 3. But before we go into map 3, I am going to be right back real quick. Get some more coffee.
Ready for battle.
Then we'll get into this third map. Be right back, guys. Hello. It's me. I hope my mouse doesn't run out of charge. It is blinking red right now, but if it does run out of charge, I'll just put on the charger. It'll be fine.
Attackers incoming in
Okay.
30 seconds.
Will we see more spam mirror? That is the question here. Because Dorado's a very long map. But if we start off where we left off, right? We start looking at these points, and there's a lot more cover here. There's this massive tower in the middle. This is a very long path, right? But generally you can path inside left side. And then this is a shorter path. Like, this is pretty close up. Then we look at second point, and you've got a lot of cover overall, right? You've got this whole castle right in the middle. If the enemy team's on high ground, it's pretty hard to like not get shot everywhere, right? But you've got this cover over here. You've got this over here. You could play inside the gate if you haven't pushed very far. So if the Charge wants to bring out their Rhine Diva comp, I think this is an okay map for it. But it seems like they are going to play the spam comp here on the defense, which just now they didn't do too well on, but of course they've had the 5-minute break, right, between maps.
Attackers
So
incoming.
they've probably discussed a lot of that and see if they do better now, right? They do end up winning this series, so they must have adapted and improved somewhere. Okay, so let's see what's happening right now. They are in a mirror composition again. Spark just won on the comp in the mirror, so why would they swap it up, right? We've got Krong and Rio over here together. And then we've got Nero over here. So this is interesting, right? Because we just saw that in the mirror, what worked best was having Krong and Nero together, maybe on the right side here. And then have Rio with the rest of the team, maybe somewhere else. What this triggers to me is either they have something set up right, or they're going to back out the point, which is probably the more likely story here. Oh, they're going to keep holding this for now. Okay. So they probably wanted to get a really good Maywall with Nero, which happened, right? This was a really good Maywall. Dora goes like too deep because he thinks the whole team can walk in, I guess. But they could not, and he ends up dying for it. That's a good Maywall from Nero. And bad play from Adora, who doesn't use his Ice Block. Playing Mei is hard. People always say it's so easy. But I think she's pretty hard. The hard character. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so Assassin and Ushui again sitting together, trying to walk in main. It's very rough, right, to walk in, because what the enemy team has, they have defender's advantage. They get to place their Orisa shield, and as you can see, Rio's already thrown one in the air, right? And they basically get 2 shields, while Gushui on the attack obviously only gets 1 shield because he decides to plop it down. But because shield lasts 20 seconds and it only has like a 12 or 10 second cooldown, I think it's 10 seconds right now. Rio gets to plop it down and then have 1 just off cooldown in the back pocket, while Gushui only gets 1 shield. So there's a big defender's advantage, right, on the side of Charge. And their hold overall is very interesting. Like, Happy is spamming from over here. Neptuno is over here trying to heal the tanks, right, who are playing together. And I wonder where Shu is. He must also be playing. Okay, so he's playing on this angle. So they've basically said, hey, we're just going to take every good angle on this map. And then when the enemy team walks in, we're going to wall them. And we're going to all shoot them, right? Which is an interesting strat. Again, the wall off comes in. Assassin gets walled this time. He gets pulled. You gonna get rocked too? No? Okay. So that was fine, right? It was a good wall. It gets a bunch of cooldowns. But now that this wall's up, I do get to kind of walk in. And you saw Adora wall the main there. Oftentimes that's where the mate plays, right? So he's probably trying to wall off the main and then walk in. But Nero was playing on an off angle. Trying to kind of avoid that. So now that the enemy team's walked in, Charge is backing up. Going to more of a standard hold. Oh, Rio gets pulled. Rio gets his fortify forced out and he goes very low. But he does live. It's not the end of the world here for the Charge. Better not have that happen though, of course. Fortify is a really good ability. And now what we're seeing is Rio and Krong are playing more together than they were before. But so are Gushue and Assassin. But what I think is really strong on this attack, right, is sending maybe your Mei and your Sigma around this left side. Or all the way around, right? And then having your core main, right? Like we just talked about on Nambani or Dorado. So we'll see if that does end up happening. So Spark kind of does what we were talking about, right? But they end up going the left side. Krong and Nero are going to mirror. Not like two separate team fights over here. He's got the 4 people normal. But again, what I think Spark is doing a lot better than the Charge is this 4 stack, right? You've got Godsby, who has been pressuring shields really well together with Gushue. And they've generally been getting good picks, better than Happy has been. Let's see how Godsby gets this pick. So he's contesting Happy right now. It's good, right? And he regroups with his team. And there's a pull. So you've got the pull plus Hangzhou Spark. And they end up picking up Nero. So nice pull there from Gushue. Again, getting a pick for them. So Gushue's pulls have been so instrumental to the Spark's success in this spam mirror so far. He got like 3 in a row on Dorado. And now he opens up the first fight right away with a pull. Or I guess this is the second fight. Because the first fight Nero got that nice wall. And now here, Sparks, like they're committing just as much resources, right? Both teams have got the Zen there, so it's kind of a free v free. But Sparks doing really good so far. Nero is really low right now. Nero has to force ice block. Assassin is just very far up. Q ends up tranking and they wall Assassin. So Assassin's gonna die here. And I don't know why he kind of got left alone by Adora there. Adora didn't have ice block. Okay, that makes sense. So Adora couldn't play that aggressive because he did not have ice block. Baptisto comes out, main. Sorry I'm taking so long, guys, but there's just a lot going on in this spam area, right? You've got the little team fight going on over here. Got the big team fight going on over here. It's now a 1-for-1, but the Charge did have to trank for this one. And if Adora also dies, so that trank was very worth, right? They got 2 picks there. It's okay. You see, you guys also don't want to miss anything. End up getting basically 2 ticks, and Rio ends up dying to Gushue. And this is what I feel like this has been a big difference so far, is how good Gushue's been playing on the Orisa compared to Rio. I feel like Gushue's impact, not just this kill obviously, but his impact with the pulls have been very noticeable. How does he end up killing? Oh, Rio's already dead here. Just wanted to see how he ended up killing Rio. He has another shield. Oh, so this Rio shield is like really early. It just dies, right? Yeah, Rio wastes his shield and then he just dies. Wow, that's like you kind of want to like shield when you're walking out, right? You don't want to just shield and then walk away, because then your shield just dies. It only has 600 HP.
Yuga Wagateki wo kurau!
Okay, And then, I mean, because this side was won, right, completely for the charge, because they used the trank, they end up winning this team fight. And overall, this defense has been good for the charge here. Are they gonna go to their like A strat where they had Nero in here and then had him get the walls? No. It seems like they're now having Kwang and Nero go play together and then Rio play with the rest of the team, right? Like we've been talking about. This is a very easy to spam shield though. Oh, again, a good wall from Nero. Force Assassin to shield up. Oh, Assassin's just gonna die from that. Oh wow, that's a really good wall. Does Assassin not have any shield left? He has 600 here. No, he just doesn't have anything. He gets walled. I think he instantly has to shift here, but he's scared because Nero's freezing him. Oh, and then he recalls a shield too. Oh, and then he just dies. Yikes. They couldn't save him. Nice wall there from Nero. And generally what you want to do is have your Orisa walk in first, right? Because if your Orisa gets walled off, then he can just fortify, right? And he's going to be fine, likely. So you have your Orisa and Mei walk in first, so that if your Orisa and Mei gets walled, you can wall in front of you, right, with the Mei. And then if your Orisa needs more help, she can fortify. But Spark make a mistake, and they have Assassin walk in first. So you see some like undisciplined moments from both these teams, and they're definitely like nowhere playing perfect, right? Like nowhere near perfect. Oh my god. So we kind of see happening to the Spark now what had just happened to, or yeah, what did just happen to Guangzhou, where they're just getting picked because of undiscipline. Wow, what is that shot? Just no way, dude. Gonna get a .25 on that one. Look, he's over here, dude. Wait, that's an insane shot. He didn't even have a scout arrow out there. Yeah, I would be mad if I was Bebe. I would be raging. I'd be fuming. That's a legendary. So he sees Bebe shoot the shield, right? So Bebe, instead of maybe continually sitting here and left clicking, he could like charge his right click and walk up, shoot it. Charge his right click, walk up, shoot it. But I mean, this shot is kind of crazy. It like threads the needle perfectly, and just hits him in the dome. And that sucks for the Spark, because now they have to wait like 30 more seconds, right? Can't really go in 5v6, especially on attack. It curved? No, I don't think it curved. It just went like that. Just went in a straight line because Bebe could also get an angle. It's the other way. Looking for the fall is refused live. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of followers this stream. And a pog. This was a good match. Okay, so now Spark are sick of all this shit. They use the Hangzhou ult while walking in to create space. This is probably gonna prompt, you know, the charge to back out, right? The Hangzhou ult is over here. So they only have this side now. That's a zoning ult, guys. That's a true definition of a zoning ult.
30 seconds remaining.
And I think it's okay to use it that way. I don't think that's like a massive error. Rio again, no value from pull. And Spark's been doing a good job dodging away from pulls. Happy on a small flank again, right? Trying to pressure the enemy team. Oh, Bebe gets pulled here. But he's fine because of the wall. And then Guangzhou walks in with the ult. And they have to win this fight now. It's 15 seconds left. And I think what's interesting is, generally as a defense team, when you're like ahead and it's last fight, you want to use your ults first while the enemy team walks in. But what we see now is that Spark is used the Hangzhou ult first and the Orisa ult. And this forces Charge to react, right? But I'd like Charge to now use their ults really aggressive, right? But they use their bongo a little later. But it's really good positioning on this bongo because it's actually hitting 5 people. 6 people. While the Spark one is only hitting 2 or 3. So nice ult there. Adora's also ulting now. Shu still doesn't have Trank because he used it earlier, right? Nero has a nice wall off here. Spark 1 is gone. Oh, yeah. So Happy got a nice flank on the Spark 1. So Rio had like way better positioning. And Guangzhou kind of put it. And then they kind of left it. So I really don't like that. I feel like bongo, you really want to get value out of. So maybe you could have like put it in a smarter spot, right? Like you could have maybe walked over here, put it over here, and given his whole team it. Because they're kind of playing around here right now. Or if he wants to put it here, then they have to like take this side of the map, right? And have maybe Godspeed go in and flank this, just so he can't be killed, like Happy's doing right now. But this bongo from Charge is getting a lot more value right now than the one from. You see, like Happy is still getting it even though he's flanking. Guangzhou gets domed, he's forced to Trank. Or Bebe's forced to Trank. Shu ends up dying just before he gets Trank. So that's very sad. He gets domed, probably from a pull. Oh, one sec, guys. I am back. Oh, I'm sorry for this cap sound. Pause, champ. I'm sorry, guys. My mom made me soup, so I had to go and collect it. Very sweet of her. Can't say no to soup. Anyway, let us continue. Very pause, champ. Okay, so Ryu ult getting a lot more value right now. IDK comes out with his own ult. And Shu almost has his Trank right now. Let's see what happens to Shu. He probably gets pulled. Thank you for the viewer, for the host, Jonah. How was your stream? Well, oh my god, he just gets domed. It's not even a pull. It's a little too far forward because he's trying to farm Trank. And then he gets domed by the amplification matrixed right click. What is that? You have FFZ supporter? Very cool. Very enjoyable. We just play ranked. But the bongo's still out.
Overtime.
So even though Charge is 1 down, they could still win this. They're Mei ulting right now. Now Gristorius is gonna take care of us. I am. I'm a fellow Dutchie just like Jonah. And you see how Krong and Nero are like. So for the new people, I'm doing a VOD of you right now, the Spark against Charge. You're all welcome to join me. It is now 1-1. And generally what's been happening is the Spark has been playing this comp, Charge has been mirroring, right? And last map was a stomp for a Spark. And the map before that was a stomp for Charge. So it's now 1-1. It's been a very interesting series so far with like 2 pretty different styles. But yeah, they're both trying to play the spam comp. Oh, kill him, Nero. Kill him. Take him out. We got him. Yeah, now that Spark has used all their ults so early, right? They kind of like walked in. We're afraid to lose another fight. So they used their ults really early, but they didn't get the max value out of them. And even though Shu died, Charge now have like a lot of ults still, right? They still have the Sigma ult. Shu's gonna come back with ult. Happy is ult, and Nero just mailed at second. Rio's ult finally died, but it got a bunch of value. Atlanta's actually not a meme comp this year. Baby Bay let me pull out Torb. Torb is terrible against spam. But he's good against dive. Torb is really good against dive. Dora and Godspeed are actually on a massive flank. And this has been like a pretty good flank all throughout this game. Coming through there. Very nice. So, Krong has used his ult. Let's see how much value he got from that. I like watching the Sigma ults. Oh, so he went for the solo ult on Bebe. And then did he end up killing him or not? Oh, Bebe lives. That's a very low value ult from Krong. Maybe if he had like ulted this side, would have been better. Because there's actually 3 people where you can get cooldowns from, etc. He walks up pretty far. But again, they're all trying to help Rio in here. Ooh. Adora goes really low. Assassin's really low right now. And if you're watching this, IDK is currently dead. So there's no healing right now for the Spark, basically. Only Bebe. And Bebe, like, Zen doesn't do much healing without Trank, right? So once Shu comes back, this is looking very dire. Nero gets a really good wall over here. And yeah, I expect the Charge to just clean this up. Oh, Neptuno dies. But again, Shu is finally here. Krong almost dies, but he lives. And then yeah. Wow. So, for the people that haven't been watching, Spark just absolutely shit-stomped on the Charge on the Rado with the same comps, right? And now Charge has probably swapped 1 or 2 things up. I think Nero and Krong are playing better together, and Shu is helping out in those duels, and Happy's actually been getting a lot of picks. So very nice. Nero had some great walls on this defense, but the Mei popping off, and Spark didn't really like. You know, the first fight was really disciplined for them. They played very well, and they just barely ended up losing it. And then after that, they weren't disciplined anymore. They just didn't go through the steps that you need to take with spam. And when I talk about spam, it's exactly the comp that the Spark is playing, right? It's the Orisa Sigma composition, where you have the Hangzhou. Yeah, so let's see how the Spark now defend this, because obviously the Charge basically only need to win one fight. So it has to be like a really clean defense if they want to like get a better defense here. And if we look at the time bank, it's not gonna be that clean, I guess. So we saw for Charge have Nero hide in here, and he got a ton of good walls, like right on this choke, where people got spammed out. But I think it was also a massive error, because what Spark did was they had Assassin walk in first, and then Assassin got walled off, and he couldn't protect himself. What I think you need to do is have Gushue and Adora walk in first, and then if Gushue gets walled off, he can obviously fortify, and with Adora by his side, he can probably like wall off in front of them, and then they're fine. So I think Spark were really uncoordinated walking in, and it showed, right? Oh, Bebe just insta dies. What? Spark's tilted. How does Bebe insta die? Is he too greedy? Oh, he gets pulled. So a very nice pull from Rio there. Ends up getting Bebe while the Gushue shield is down, right? Yeah. And what we also saw Charge do a lot on their defense is that when when Gushue would pull, they would put a wall in front of the enemy team just so they couldn't get picked off by the pull plus Hangzhou shot, which is very strong, right? Pull sets up a lot of plays for your team. Nice wall coming out here from Nero. Forces Gushue to like walk back to his team a little different. Doesn't end up doing too much though. And now Spark gets to give up all the space. They don't have their Zen right now, which is a big source of your damage. Oh, Gushue gets a pull. It's a big pull, but no follow-up damage. Where is Godsby right now? So Godsby's flanking, so he couldn't follow up on the pull damage. But generally what you want to do is you want to pull, maybe rock with it, right? And then get a Hangzhou shot on the pull. But his Hangzhou was flanking. And he also ends up dying to Krong. So Godsby trying to make a play to make up for the fact that they're one down, right? Doesn't work out. Ends up dying. And after that, there's no way that the Charge lose anymore. They're very aware of this flank. Krong is sitting on him. Krong just takes him out. So he goes for the flank. Shoots Krong. And then I really think like after he's been seen like this, he should go back to his team. But I mean his team has given up so much space that that's also rough, right? Yeah. Was there a scout arrow on him? You? I got wrecked there. No, there wasn't even a scouting arrow. It's just that Krong was just spamming that area because he had nowhere else to spam. Oh, Godsby just kind of walked into it too.
Barrier is out of existence.
Okay, and at that point, you know, fight's probably lost. Not much you can do when you're 2 down. I guess Bebe got back, but still. Spam is all about space, is what I'm saying, guys. If you don't have the space, then it's very hard to win. And I mean, a lot of comps in Overwatch are like that, right? It's very hard to, like, just walk at the enemy team from a long way away and then just win.
Victory.
Og has used a judge my take. Well, you have to give me a take then. It's like you say something and then I have to react to it, whether it's like something very stupid or, you know, I have to like judge what you're saying.
Ready for battle.
I need more things that use for points, I'm sorry. But you can give me a take and then I'll judge it. Okay. So now the Guangzhou are 2-1 up. Hey Design, how are you doing? Yacked Andy. And they're still playing the spam mirror actually. What Minecraft mod is this? It's version 18.7. You can Fortnite build in this one. It's great. You have Maywalls and stuff. I'm good. How you been? I've been good. I've been doing a lot of reviews this weekend because we finally have some owl again. So I'm abusing the amount of owl we have by doing a ridiculous amount of reviews. This is my third one. You've probably been asked what do you think is the best Chinese squad right now? I mean, I still think it's the Shanghai Dragons. Even though they completely flopped against the Chengdu Hunters. I think that's more because they didn't know what the Chengdu Hunters was throwing at them and they didn't prepare than it's them being bad. Because we saw them dominate the Charge, right? Like they played really well against the Charge, which was more conventional Overwatch. Is that your take? Vancouver Titans is the best team in OWL? I don't think so. I mean, I think... No, I just don't think so. I think they have great players. But I think they're very much are a team that isn't as much based around strategy and more around individual play and like setting stuff up right. And I think the best team is a team that can do both strategy and like individual play like the Shock did last year. I think Vancouver's Titans right now is still top 5, but they might not be at the end of the year depending on like how Fissure works out for them, etc. Right? Be sure. Because he's obviously been on a lot of teams, so he could boom. Okay, let's get back into this game. Let's see what's happening over here. So we've got, again, Assassin and Adora playing together because they're a very close range squad, right? They're the squad that has to get close, has to use their Mei walls, and generally aren't going to do much from this range that other people in the team like Bebe are playing from. So you'll see them play together, hold angles, hold close. Gushue is holding relatively close because obviously if he gets pushed, he has his Fortify ability. And the rest of Spark is very far back. Godsby's over here shooting from the bell, basically. And Bebe's over here shooting from this side. And what we've seen from this match so far is if you get caught by these kind of pulls from Rio or Gushue, right? And get picked on the defense, that's disastrous. So what Godsby and Bebe really want to do is they want to watch out for these pulls, like not get pulled or like hide when they see a pull coming. Yeah. And then obviously this team is more together, right? So when they get pulled, Kron can put up a shield in front of them. But if they're split, the same goes for them, right? For now, Gushue almost got pulled. Doesn't get pulled though. And it's pretty hard to break this, right? Like, I like this hold from Spark. It seems fought out. They've got a lot of angles where they can shoot the choke from. If the enemy team walks in, Adora's got a great sight line to wall this off, right? And then Charge obviously has a hard time walking in, right? What they're going to do is have Happy climb, try and pick people, right? Like IDK, who could be picked right here. And just try and play off pulls and walk in together and win the shield war. He has reviewed Shanghai. I have not reviewed Shanghai, no. I've reviewed the Shock against the Glads, which is up on my YouTube right now. And I've also reviewed the Spark against Chengdu, but that's not up on my YouTube. That was, yeah, I didn't like that review as much. But you can watch the Shock against Glads on the YouTube. Okay. So what ends up happening is they walk in with wall. They obviously do this, and they wall off Adora. So Adora can't have sight lines to wall off the Spark or the Charge. They have to do something, right? They can't just sit here and keep spamming. So in that sense, I like this move. But if they don't play it perfect after this wall goes down, it's going to be very hard for them to win, right? Because when this wall goes down, Adora's obviously looking for his own wall. Okay, so what they do is they end up getting Krong and Neptuno inside. And obviously this is the close range squad, like I was talking about, right? And then the rest is going to stay main. So I do kind of like this because they're creating space and angles for themselves. And just sitting 6 main isn't going to do anything for you. So good moves. They're making a very long rotation too. You can't really punish this. Like, the only thing that can punish Mei Sigma in the mirror, right, obviously, is the Mei Sigma themselves. But maybe you'll see Assassin and Adora. Oh, they decide to push main. So because Charge is taking space elsewhere, they decide, hey, we have enough people here right now to actually just push you, which is interesting. They end up getting Shu, so very nice job. And the problem is here, they got the wall, but Nero obviously cannot counter wall. A good move here from Spark. I really like that move. And now Nero and Krong just have to play safe, right? They can't do anything while their team's dead. A good reaction from the Spark there, actually. To what the Charge was throwing at them. Again, Rio pool comes out. I've been talking about these pools. They're so important. Catches both Bebe and Godsby. But it's like a long and hard sight line, right? And there's a shield in front of them. So they can't really shoot on the pool. Which, good job by... Oh, they do end up shooting on the pool. Wow. Ria's been silently doing so well. I mean, the first map he didn't do too well. But after that he's been doing great. Like on the Rado he didn't do too well, but since then it's been really good. A good pull coming out. And it's always hard to judge Orisa gameplay, right? Because it's so team based. But yeah, the wall comes out. I actually really like it when the enemy team BAP ults like this, that you just ult in or like wall in front of them so they can't shoot the BAP ult. But Adora ends up walling behind them, which I think is kind of a mistake. And they end up shooting through the Matrix onto Godsby's head. So a really nice headshot from Happy. But I think that mistake really comes down to Baptiste ult comes down and Adora not like walling it. You know? I feel like he could have walled the gate and it would have nullified this ult. But I mean, their decision is to like push through it, right? Which I guess it worked out because they did kill Shu, but I don't know. Krong and Nero are still flanking. They're gonna go kill Bebe over here. Nice wall from Nero. Dude, Nero's having such good walls this game, but their whole team is dead. So again, Spark sees, hey, Krong and Nero still like way too far back. Let's go take the aggressive 4v4 because we have Mei and they don't right now. And Mei is really good at these close range fight, guys. Exactly how you want to use the Mei. So Nero and Krong are like, shit, our team is dead. We gotta get out of here. Dude, they've just been behind the enemy team all this time. Dude, what they could do, dude, is they could have went here and then walled themselves up and then gotten this high ground and just sat on the enemy team. They're getting this one though, so also good, right? You can't really push these guys either. How are you gonna push them? The only thing you can really do is like get a good pull, but very hard to push them. They go on point again. The squad. This time, it's the amplification matrix coming out for Spark, right? And obviously Nero's still flanking, so he can't actually wall this off. Oh, and Shu kills Gushue even though they have the matrix up here. So that's a mistake from Gushue, I think. And Happy is kind of able to get in because Nero and Krong have taken this side of the map, right? This is like when I talk about distributing your resources. Guangzhou is strong on the left side here. So they can kind of like fan out to the left side and walk in now. While Spark is really strong on the right side. So let's see what actually happens to Gushue here. Gushue goes in, gets a pull. The pull kind of gets stopped by their own Mei wall. But they're still shooting Rio. So the Mei wall kind of like screws them over. And then, ooh, Gushue just gets shot by Hangzhou over here. He doesn't pop his Fortify. And then he gets 5 orb by Shu. So nice 5 orb from Shu there. And I don't think that Mei wall was very good. I think they wanted to wall off Rio. They could have done it on the choke. But this one was kind of missed. So yeah, Gushue ends up dying, and that's your main tank gone. And he almost had Bongo too, so that makes it worse. Gushue's been doing a really good job at farming Bongo because Rio's only 50%. Krong and Nero on the point. This death squad of Krong and Nero, dude. Yeah. Now they get full point control, right? Because Gushue's dead, so they don't have as much shield as the enemy team does. And at this point, Charge kind of has to throw to lose this, right? Because no way that Gushue's coming back in time. Yeah. And they even like kind of get staggered here, which is really good for the charge, right? With the new 2 CP spawns though, I don't think it's gonna bother Spark. Like if you did this half a year ago, then this would be like the worst for Spark ever, right? Because then you got the overtime spawns kind of, or like the late spawns. You have to like walk into position, but now with the updated 2 CP spawns, people spawn very quickly. Hello Alec, welcome to the stream. You see how fast these people spawn? Like there's no way they're not gonna get back in time. Dying late on first CP is like not that bad anymore. And this second point Hanamura, it's a pain, dude. This is a hard point to attack. Like this is actually like one of the worst and hardest points to attack in the game right now. Because Mei walls are so good here. Like if you go high ground, you get Mei walled over here. If you go low ground, you get Mei walled over here or on this choke. And the Hanzo is always off angling. So you just have to have like a big ult advantage or make a big play to actually get this point, I feel. So what Charge is going for here is a 5-1 split, right? They have the 5 people here and then Happy's on his own. This is generally really good, right? Because what's Hanzo really going to go do with the team? He can maybe get a pick like this. If he's able to get a pick, that's really good for them. Gushue ends up plopping down the bongo. Why are they playing double shield instead of dive? Because the thing is, if you swap to dive, what Spark will do is they will just swap the Hanzo to a Kree, and they'll swap the Baptiste to a Brig, or the Zen to a Brig, right? And then it's very hard to dive that comp now, right? Because they still have the Mei, who's also really good against Ball in general, and Winston's banned. And Sama's also banned. So a lot of dive bans this week. So it's hard to dive this comp now. Especially if they can swap the Hanzo to a Kree, who's good against dive. And they can swap to a Brig, who Brig is phenomenal against dive. We've seen some dive play, but that's generally on Koffs, where ult economy isn't as big, right? If you win first fight on Koff, you generally win the map. But it's not like that on other game modes. Oh yeah. Maybe Charge can go dive first point, right? And do really good with like the Genji stuff. But then second point, Spark is just going to make some adaptations, and it could be very hard to not get full held for them on second, right? Plus, Charge maybe hasn't played much dive in their scrims. Like Chengdu did, right? There's just small adaptations that you want to make against each comp. And Ryan is really hard to get to the enemy team when you have no Lucio speed boost. So unless you're playing very close points, Ryan isn't that great. Okay. Let's see what happens. They pull Dragon. Again. Great. Ults. So pull. Oh, nice wall 2 on the Dragon. Yeah, that finishes this fight instantly. And this is what I've been saying, right? This is so hard to push. Like even though they kill a Dora like straight up, or Dora does an ice block, just because they got this Hanzo ult and this wall, it's too strong. This is really hard to push, right? Like once you lose one guy, these long ass spawns, and it's really bad. Okay. So Charge groups back up. Again, they're 5-1 split. Kind of relying on Happy to get these off-angle picks right. And then you've got Gushue, Bebe up top. Bebe's up top here, I assume, because he has the Trank. So if things get hairy, you can go very aggro with Trank. I like playing like aggro when you have Trank, right? Because let's say he was like here or low ground, and his team gets Mei ulted, he can't get to them with Trank, right? So like you have to play aggro when you have Trank as them. Again. Oh, what is happening? I can't pause. Oh, my mouse ran out of fuel. I was talking about earlier. No mouse fuel. Baby rage. I have to put a wire on it. We fixed our technical issues. We're fine. Okay. Rip mouse. I don't know. This is the Easy Pro wireless. I feel like everybody has this mouse. It's really good. Okay. So, yeah. Charge get in. They get in pretty well, right? They get their Mei in too. But then Adora kind of like lobs in his ult. Krong has just used his shift ability to eat. Oh, he still had. Oh, he almost ate it. Oh no! Oh no! We've seen an oopsie, guys. We've spotted an oopsie. So Adora goes in with a long range ult. Krong still has a shift up too. So this is just kind of a YOLO ult. And then Krong tries to eat it. And then Nero walls in front of them so that Krong can't actually eat it. Yikes. And then everybody gets frozen. And Krong is like, shit, team noobs. Garbage. The fucking troll team. No, he didn't actually say that, but yeah. Okay, they end up like living through the trance. But that's a shame. If they could have eaten that Mei and saved that Trank for like a different ult, would have been really good, right? Krong even ends up dying because I think the Trank runs out. So that's a really good trade to trade Happy for Godsby and then, you know, killing Krong. Oh, Nero comes in with his ult now. But this is just like not good play, right? Like once you're one down on 2 CP, this is really hard to still win the fight. And then they also use the bongo. Gusha or Nero is also dead. So they just kind of like threw away 2 really good ults there. 3 good ults. After Krong died. That was a shame. Because like that's the kind of stuff you can't do on 2 CP, right? You're like 1 or 2 down, you've gotten some ults from the enemy team, and then you like start throwing in your ults just because you're trying to clutch out the fight. I feel like you can't really clutch 2 CP because of how close the spawns are. Even if it's a 5v5 or even like, yeah, just like trading is really bad on 2 CP, especially with ults too, right? Like, thank you for the follow, Mega. Okay. So again, Charge walk in top. They're 6 stacking this time around. Which, I mean, it's rough for your Hangzhou, I feel. If you're gonna 6 stack, he doesn't do as much. He's better on the off angle. But it's because they want to pull Dragon. So they pull. They're baiting out the drone with this. That's fine, right? But they're now getting Assassin ulted. Which they also drone. They're probably going to live through this. Yes. Good. That was good, right? They traded Hangzhou ult for a better ult, I think. Sigma ult. And traded drones. And now they can get the high ground. So very good play from the Charge this time to retake this. And imagine if they still had their bongo up right now, or their male. Anyway, Happy picks Adora. That's a really good pick. Please don't get killed here, Happy. Oh, okay, he almost dies, but he lives. He's 1 HP. So nice pick from Happy too. Krong comes in with his ult on the enemy Sigma. I'd rather just use it really aggressively, you know. Oh, this is unlucky though. He's got cover. He's been Sigma ulted up, and now he has cover. And Gusha has found a really good spot for their bongo. This is really hard to kill. Nice wall here from Nero too. They're really throwing a lot of resources at Assassin. Is he gonna die? Oh my god, he's juking. Okay, he did die. But that's a nice Sigma ult in my opinion, and a wall from there. Just to get that pick and like get more space, right? Because now they've gotten 2 picks. They're trying to get onto the point, right? This is what I've been talking about, right? With the spam, you really need to like take space slowly, surely, use your ults properly. And that was great. But again, the bongo's still up for Spark, and that gives everybody a 50% damage boost. Oh, bongo's down, bongo's down. A nice kill on the bongo from the charge there. And they're in like a good spot to like slowly start winning this now if the Spark doesn't get a pick. Oh, Ushuai's 1 HP. Godsby's over here on his own, so he's probably the next target that you really want to focus. Take him out. Take him out, Krong. Oh. He's forced out. Nice. They did end up getting him. So Godsby was a little out of position, right? He's playing up here. Had to drop because he was finally getting pushed out by all the other people. And Charge is just playing this really, really well, right? They like took space slowly after they got this high ground. They ulted Assassin, who's now already on the Diva, which is like more of a stall pick, right? Or like a contest high ground pick. Adora comes in with the ult. Krong almost eats it. Doesn't get it though. Oh, the Trank comes in. The drone comes in. So nice Trank from Shu. Should keep Krong. Krong dies through Trank. Wow, that's crazy. Damn. So Krong gets solo ulted. They Trank for him. And all the damage combined. Because of a nice target focus from Spark. Wow, he doesn't eat that? Wait, what? Dude, I'd be mad if I was Krong, dude. First he gets walled off, he can't eat it. Now, it looks like he should eat it. He doesn't eat it. Where's the male? It's right in front of him. Dude, that just barely doesn't reach it. That's very sad. Poor Krong. You just press W a little bit. Anyway. So the drone comes out from Neptuno, and then the Trank also comes out, and then Shu even tries to body block, which is really good, right, for Krong. But Bebe, who's 1 HP.
A closed mind.
Oh, Shu even blocks shots, but they just burst it through because of nice target focus. Oh, they had the Amp Matrix too. So Amp Matrix plus Orisa Baptiste damage end up killing Krong basically through Trance, and Trance is 300 healing a second, guys. So they did more than 300 damage a second there with IDK and Ushuai here.
Let them up.
You can't even see him.
Into the
Hit him.
iris.
He's just shooting, dude. He's missing. Oh, the triple headshot. Yeah. That's crazy. You have the feeling it's easier to eat when you're crouching? I don't know about that. Dude, and now Krong's dead. That's a lot of their shield gone and a lot of their damage too. So Charge might just lose this in the long run, even though they played that fight so well. Assassin ends up inting though. Rose and McQueen. Godsby swapped over to the Widow. Widow's kind of feast or famine, right? Either you get the picks or you don't. And if you get them, you win the fight. But if you don't get them, the enemy Hangzhou kind of like does more damage than you on the shields, etc. Nice pull dragon mid-fight from Happy and Rio, which is a really good combo, right? We've talked about this. Them getting IDK with this, even through... Oh, they walled off. Ooh, they walled off the drone. So Nero coming in with the big plays here. So this is something you can do as Mei, right? When the enemy Baptiste puts down the drone, you can wall it. You can wall the LOS on the enemy team, and then they don't actually get the drone. So you see, the drone comes out. They would live, right? But then Nero comes in with a clutch wall on IDK here, which drops drone LOS on him, and he dies, even though the drone's right there, because the LOS is blocked. So really nice wall from Nero, ends up killing IDK. Bebe even tranks. And now with Krong back on the ball too, they have a chance of winning again. Krong's coming in for the slam. Assassin's also on the diva here. They get Bebe to high ground. The significant lack of shields here for Rio. He's like, it dude. Gets a shield up. Ushuai's also shielding on point.
10 seconds remaining.
Assassin, again, just being really aggressive, being annoying. Nero has his ult up here, and he knows Assassin's all the way over here. He's gonna throw it in. Ushuai doesn't have his fortify. Ends up turning, so he doesn't take headshots, so that's pretty smart.
Overtime.
And Godsby end up finally getting a pick on Neptuno. So that's a really good pick here. But crucially, Charge have finally gotten all these ults back up, right? That we were talking about earlier, that, you know, they kind of wasted in that one fight. Because this fight's been going for so damn long. They've got the Bong, they've got the Mail, they've got the Trank. So hopefully they can like finish it out with these ults. And the overtime spawns are now also in effect. So defender's advantage is a little bit worse now, because with overtime spawns it takes a lot longer to spawn, like 3 or 4 seconds more, I believe, or 2 seconds. So that's a big deal, right? When the spawns are this close. So Charge is just trying to clean up point so badly. Oh, Adora ends up walling himself in, gets headshot by Happy. Ushuai comes back in. Nero ends up dying. They might lose after all this time. Nope. Overtime spawns are still happening. You see how long these spawns take now? Yeah. Eventually, maybe, this fight will be over. Oh, Adora comes in with a Mayo. Rio can't get out. Rio's frozen. Rio's gonna die. Oh my god. Nero's on Tracer now. I think Charge will win this, but they have a lot of losses right now. So if they don't win this fast, it's bad. Oh, kill Godsby. They've done it. They've done it. Dude, and even capping 2 points just on 2 CP on Hanamura is like pretty good. I feel like it's really hard to attack this point. This is the biggest bullshit in Overwatch abilities that our LOS are rendered completely. I don't think it's bullshit. I think it's very skilled what Nero did there to wall off the
Initiating match.
the drone. Really hard. Both teams can do it. It's good counterplay to Baptiste.
Attackers incoming in 30.
See here.
5,
So what's gonna happen?
2, 1.
Spark again playing spam, and Charge also playing spam. But oh no, they're not playing spam at all. What am I saying? They're playing Reinhardt. So Rein on defense makes some sense for me, right? Because they can hold this choke very close with Rein and Mei. And it's really hard for the enemy team to walk in. While the Hangzhou can contest the high grounds. When you play Rein Diva, you always play Anna. And they've also got the Baptiste. But Charge, even though they did pretty well last map, right? Even though they did pretty good this map so far. They're now 2-1 up in the series, I believe. But they have to lose this map because we know it goes to map 3. and they go for the Reinhardt comp, which I think it's a good comp, but it leaves very little room for air. Where's Neptuno right now? Okay, so Nero, I mean. Nero and Shu are sitting in here to try and get the wall, and then they want Rio to swing. Krong is set up to contest the high grounds, and Happy, where is he? He's on the high ground too. So their whole plan is to like wall and then swing hard on the wall, get damage in. It's hard to spam Rio out, right? Because there's like LOS barrier right here. He can play around this wall, and then the enemy team has to like walk out all the way over here to shoot him. So he has good positioning here. Unless Guangzhou can get like a good pull here on Happy or on the backline. It's going to be hard for them to get a pick here walking in. As I said, Krong's walking in. They got a good wall, but Adora gets a good counter wall. Like I've been talking about, right? Miro holds pretty close too. And Rio's had to give up the choke. So this is really good for the Spark. Their nice counter wall there to stop Rio from engaging on them helped a lot. And now Rio's kind of going inside a room where the whole Spark is. Which, he's not, guys, spoiler, he's not going to win this. He's not going to 1v6. So I don't know if I like that he went in here. I feel like you really want to hold outside. Yeah, he's just going to die. I feel like that's a big mistake. If you're going to play the Rhine, you really need to hold the chokes, right? Because what's probably going to happen is Spark's going to want to rotate high ground. And then you can like kind of like wait for them, right? And wall them off while they're like doing these rotations. But Rio ends up going a little too deep. Oh, Assassin also goes too deep though. He's going to get killed. See how punishing Mei is? If you walk out of a choke, you instantly get wall and you're screwed. So it's bad from Assassin, overextending a little bit, even though they got that pick. Krong flies up, goes for the boop, misses. Pool comes out from Guangzhou onto Shu. Is he gonna die? Oh, he dies. Nice pull there. See, like, these pulls have been game changing. Like if the enemy Orisa gets a good pull on the back line and they end up following it up with like a nice Hangzhou shot, that can create a lot of opportunities for the spam comp. And this is basically doomed Charge, right? Because Rio was gonna come back in. Maybe if Shu lives there, they could have still like, you know, won this fight. But now without Anna, I think they're screwed. And Nero's gonna go on Assassin. I think Assassin even dies here. There's a nice flank on him. But yeah, what are they really gonna do? Like they have to walk on point now. Very hard for Rio and Krong to do this. Juno ends up dying, so there's no healing too for Rio. And yeah, gonna slowly lose this fight. So Rio overextending too hard to go into that room without the backup he needed. Like obviously your Anna and your Baptiste can't see you there, so you don't want to push in there. You always want to push in your LOS of your supports. And now Spark's kind of set up for a snowball, right? Like Charge has got a lot of ults. So I'd really like to see them set up to use them first, right? Especially on the second point, the Mei is really good. So if you can get good wall efficiency as Nero here, really good for them. Okay. Oh boy, Krong gets caught out. So Krong goes up. For some reason, he goes way too far up. What was Krong thinking here? He was like, where's the enemy team? I don't know where they are. Where are they at? Wait, they're behind me? Watch! And then he gets walled. Oh, and then he even shifts in and tries to get out. And he gets frozen. And then he also gets walled. He's gonna die. Good Hanzo ult though, but the drone comes out.
Digging in.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't even lose his mini as well. But I mean, just losing mech there is very bad because without the matrix, it's hard for you to run and go and swing. Rio even gets pulled off here. So this is just disastrous from the charge here. Like this happening is really bad because you really want to hold these chokes as the Rhine comp. And they just can't do that right now.
Pass into the iris.
Yeah, they're just gonna lose this because they don't have as much spam, right? So they can't just like sit back. They have to make plays.
冻住，不洗澡，冻住，不洗澡。
Dora comes in with the mail. Yeah, this is looking bad. The Bongo comes out too. Bongo insane ult. Prong dies again. Yeah, that was 2 errors on the part of Charge, which just completely screws up their map, right? Like, it's very hard to cap second point like this. But if Krong messes up like that and they don't make the proactive play, yeah, they just lose off that. And now Spark have 4 minutes to cap this first point.
Ready for battle.
Charge has decided to swap up their strat, right? They've decided to go spam on their second defense here. Because they have to full hold. And if you have to full hold, generally you want the trance. A very good ult. So. They go with the spam this time around. And Spark has an answer, right? So this is like first point dive is really good on this map. But generally why I don't like dive on points like this is if you go dive as the Spark here. When did the replays go live? They're not live. I have exclusive access. They go live on Tuesday, I'm pretty sure. But generally what the plan is for the Spark here is, you know, I normally don't like dive on 2 CPs like this because dive is great first point against this charge comp. Like really great because it's very hard for the Zen to live against the Spark comp if they dive properly. But on second point, Charge can make some adaptations, right? They can swap the Hangzhou to the Kree. They can swap the Baptiste to the Brig. They could even swap the Sigma to a Reinhardt if they really wanted to, right? And then you have a way more beefy comp. But Spark only has to cap 1 point. So them going to dive here is very, very smart. So it's kind of puts Charge in this position where it's really hard to like hold this now, right? Because they have to go full spam, because if they go like some semi-spam or like Brig, Spark's just gonna go better spam and they lose, right? Like a better spam composition. But they've put themselves into this position by letting Spark cap with 4 minutes left. And now Spark's just gonna take a lot of the space. I've told you guys about holding space, right? And they're generally like taking this left side space right now. Nero ends up getting a good wall on Gushue. But Godsby's already set up on the flank. And as I said, as this support line, it's going to be really hard to live against the likes of Godsby Tracer, right? I also like that they're going with a double flex support because there's not that much pressure on their back line. Ooh. Gushue does die to a nice wall from Nero. Nero's very good at the mid. But there's 3 minutes left. They basically need to farm Nano Blade and then they win, I feel. Oh, again, nice wall from Nero. Gushue's like, not again. And now Adora's set up. Godsby's set up. So they're forcing the Charge to go back into this room, right? And then Assassin and Gushue come in. They go for a flank on the room that I've been talking about. And now, like, just if you look at the space on the map, like, no deaths have fallen yet, right? But if you look at the space that both teams have, You see how the Charge is all clumped up and the Spark have all the space in the world, right? So as long as the Spark play this properly from this point on, I don't see a way they lose. Because it's going to be very hard for the Charge to like get out of this room now, right? Happy's trying. Ooh, Adora might die here. Okay, gets the dash away. Nero, obviously, May's very beefy, basically a tank. So he's playing outside. He's trying to get picks. Goes for Assassin. Ooh, he does end up getting Assassin here. That's very good. He also has the Mail. What do you think of Assassin and Fury? I think Assassin is their Sigma player and Rhea is their Diva player. So I think they'll like swap that up each match based on what they need. I like it. Assassin ends up dying. Rio also dies though because he had to contest point, right? And Spark had all the space. Now Krong has to go contest point, so he's the next target. He's discorded. Now, Charge are pushing out though because Adora had been forced out, right? They have to go back inside because Gushui came in swinging. I like this positioning from Gushui a lot. Really good Hammond play right there. Oh my god! Godspeed bombs! And Gushui boops them out of the bomb. That's funny. We've gotten them with that bomb. Oh, I think he might have gotten Nero there. So the boop kind of wrecks them there. Bebe also tranks, right? So at this point, there's no redeeming. Even with this Mail, it's over for the Charge. But again, I think it's rough if the Charge can make adaptations here, right? If they could swap to the Brig and stuff. But they obviously couldn't.
Victory.
So Spark ends up winning the round. And there you've got that kind of rock, paper, scissors going on, right? Dive winning against the spam if it's like pure spam. And the death ball would win against the dive, right? But on attack you have the ability to choose. Okay, we go into map 5. If you guys have not left a follow already, please do follow. I really appreciate it. I've been going live with a lot of VOD reviews. And now that there's so many matches, I will try hard to stream a lot. Okay, so what's happening? We went a little too far forward there. Okay. So now Assassin and Bazi are in. Chinese Overwatch team a little unstable right now. Yeah, it's been very weird, but I still think it's like Shanghai's the best team, but they just didn't know how to deal with Chengdu. Like they completely didn't know how to deal with them. But against more stable teams, like more teams that don't play as much cheese, I think they'll do a lot better. So yeah, I don't know. It's like a small region, so I imagine they've all scrimmed against each other. Okay, so what's going on here? We've got Charge on a Deathball comp against Spark, who is playing the dive comp, right? And I really like this from Charge because I think generally this Deathball comp is really good against dive. Like it's very hard to dive the Cream May and then the Brig Anna. So I think Spark thought, hey, Charge is probably gonna run out on the Orisa Sigma, so let's go dive. Small region. No, I mean there's little teams in the region, not a small region. So yeah. Now, Charge wants to wait out the point, right? And then walk on the point, preserve as much shield as possible. They're even having Happy and Neptuno split off, which is very good for them, in my opinion. Taking a bunch of space on point. Again, Rio charging shield. Assassin's gotten very low, and it's very hard to heal tanks, being the Spark composition, right? They have the Brig and the Zen, which isn't much healing per second. It's a lot of damage from the Zen, though. Rio shield is kind of dying at this point. Gushui comes in, rolls. Doesn't slam, though. Might be smart, because then Nero can freeze him, right? And slowly but surely, the tanks on Spark are just getting whittled down. So the DPS on Spark really need to make it happen. Thank you for the follow, Cindy. Let's see if they do make it happen. Again, Spark still have a lot of space, right? But they've had to give a lot of resources to the tanks when they would rather give them to the flankers here. And Happy's been getting in a lot of damage, and they're farming Nano Boost. And once this comp is Nano Boost, they can push into you very hard, right? Chu's probably giving Rio the rundown right now. Hey, I'm gonna nano you soon. I have nano. Let's play aggro. They end up nanoing Happy, which is great, right? Because it's hard for Rio to get in range of people. Guangzhou's pretty low. Nice sleep on Gushui. They're not really turning onto Gushui though. Oh, and Bazi gets a really nice sticky on Neptuno there. Which would have also killed Happy if he wasn't nano boosted. Oh, he gets booped in. Good thing they ate it for him, because holy crap. If he wouldn't have eaten that, they would have all died to the high noon. Dude, Happy's been kept alive by Shu for so long. Eventually they're gonna die though. Okay, and Spark actually win this fight. Because of that pulse bomb. And because Charge didn't get much value out of their nano boost. I feel like they could have maybe punished Gushui a little harder too. Because he got double stunned, so maybe if Nero could have frozen him. And they had the nano Kree, right? They could have killed him. Charge is gonna come back in. They're dealing with Gushui. Oh my god, they killed Gushui outright. So probably a really good ball from Nero coming in there. Gushui maybe a little too greedy. See what happens. Gushui scouts. He like kind of trails them. Tries to boop them off the map. But he gets double stunned. Ah, so a little too greedy on the boop here. That's a solo queue play. And then he gets walled off on the way out too. Nice wall there. He dies. That's really bad for Spark, obviously. Gushui is Baldo. And Baldos come back really fast into fights, right guys? If Spark can stall this for a little bit and Gushui could come back really quickly, like he is, it might not be the end of the world. Oh, they're going for Blade. But again, I've said this over and over again. I think that Blade without Nano isn't great, right? So Adora probably wants to get like the Mei ult out and then dash away. He's going for the discorded target right now. Neptuno knows he's discorded, so he's running away. Bebe also goes in with Trank to support. Neptuno ends up living, and this is like how you see like a non-nano boosted Genji isn't too great. Like he just gets booped away, right? But the Trank comes in, and they do end up getting Rio when using both the Blade and the Trank and the Mines, I guess. They're likely to win the fight now. As I said, Gushui comes in really quick, even if he dies, right? Oh, and Neptuno ends up using his ult. That's really bad. Oh no. Wait, when does he use his ult? That's bad. Because Brig ult's like the best ult against this comp. So he's gonna use it here, I guess. Oh, that's rough. Rio was already dead. Okay. So like retaking with Brig ult makes it very easy because everybody has armor and armor's OP against dive. But now he doesn't have rally. The best ult in the comp in my opinion. Anyway, they still have 5 ults coming in here. Well, IDK is rally, but it's not as good in dive in my opinion as it is. And if they can like stack up, just orb somebody and then use rally, it's still very good, right? Okay. So again, I don't know if I like this walkout from the charge though. I kind of like it more if they go top right and then they go over here. I think this is a very good area for Mei. And here it's like less good, right? There's so much open space for the dive. So I'm not sure about this walkout they're constantly doing.
Nerf this.
End up Diva bombing. Flam comes in, so they're gonna die the Diva bomb. At this point, they have to back out real quick. They've been sitting on these ults for a while. They haven't been able to use them. And I think that all comes down to like first fight and how that was played. Okay, so they get the touch. Oh my god! Rio gets a 4-man shatter. Yo, that came to be. That's a really good shatter. I think they just all wanted to stack up because of the Brig ult. And they wanted to just kill the people on point. But Rio comes in with the alpha. They're all trying to focus Krong with rally, so they're all getting the armor per second. But damn, they focused on the Brig as well, so he stops giving the armor. That's a very good shatter. So now Charge should win this fight, even though Happy dies. And again, Charge just wants the 6 stack while Spark kinda needs to get all the angles. They swap to Ana now because there's no one that the Brig really needs to sit on. Brig is more for the against tracers. So I kind of like the Ana swap, especially because you can then build Nano Blade, right? A really good way to finish out a map. And I think what's interesting here about the Spark 2 is that before they had Godspeed play the Tracer and Adora was playing the Genji. But now that Bazi's in, Godspeed's over to the Genji and Bazi's on the Tracer. So Godspeed's just really flexible. And maybe they just didn't like the way they played Dive yesterday against Chengdu and wanted to swap it up. Or they have different strats for the other maps, right? Just want to play Dive on this one. So they come in with the Blade. Who's getting... Oh, Happy got Nano boosted. But Rio's the one they're focusing. They've been combining Trank with Nano 2. Or Trank with the Blade. Just so Godspeed can like be aggressive and stay alive, right? But yeah. Oh, Happy gets 2 with the ult though. I think Godspeed's Genji's got a lot of value. Yeah, maybe. I think Godspeed's just a really good player overall. Whether he's on Tracer or Genji. It's high nuke. Assassin just doesn't manage to matrix it. He just doesn't expect it that early, maybe. So he gets free. That's a really good high noon. It's the Genji too. Wow, the clutch up from Happy. Wait, Bazi kills himself with pulse bomb. Oh no, Bazi. Oh, he tries to get the break. He's like, I think he thought he had recall. I've done this on Tracy. He probably thought he had recall up and wanted to recall here. Because if you look at his movement, I think he's just trying to press E, but it's still on a 3-second cooldown. And then he just walks into his bomb. Oh no, he Bozzy. But yeah, I think he thought he had recall and wanted to recall there. That's why he died to his own bomb. Obviously a mistake. But it happened to the best of them. You really hate to see it. And now Spark is really low on ults. So is Charge, but Charge is in the defending position, right? No, he just didn't have the recall, guys. Charge still have the bomb though. And I think I want to see him use the bomb as kind of a counter dive mechanism, right? Because they have the point. If they just sit on point, the enemy team has to come into them. Oh, Krong slept. Kind of putting Rio on the point alone right now. Maybe Nero should be with Rio right now. Rio's just getting spammed out. They're not taking any off angles either. Maybe I'd like to see Happy like walk to the right side or the left side, pressure that angle. But Rio's just kind of getting spammed right now. Really hard. Oh, Rio shield breaks. Oh, they're giving away point too. Ushile comes in. Passing bombs. Try to bomb slam, but I guess nobody. So nice job from Charge to evade that. Krong also has bomb here, so he's okay. Dionys recharge shield again. And Nero's ice block is forced. So this is just very bad for the Charge so far. They're like giving away so much space. I'd like to see them go for their own plays. More with the wall. And maybe Nero can play more aggro. Okay, so the Genji gets net out. He doesn't have the blade yet though. And Nero's on his ass, so he's getting frozen. Oh, but Shu's anti-naded. There's a really big anti-nade came in from IDK. Ooh, okay, finally the anti-nade runs out. They don't end up dying. But Bozzy comes in with Pulse Bomb. Ends up killing Happy. And now, because Spark have all the space, right? They just end up winning this. I would have really liked to see Charge go for more aggressive plays there. Like they gave up all that space. But I don't think they have to. I think they have to play more aggressive.
Pass into the iris.
If they want to play that comp at least. But now they're playing Doom Zarya. Which I don't think this is a good matchup for them at all. But they do end up winning this map. But generally I think Doom is really good. Like, yeah, I mean that was a mistake, but just generally them giving up so much space and just having them having just Rio sit up front so far was a mistake in my opinion. I think they need to play more aggressive as a team, and they be the one pressing W, you know. Anyway, let's talk about this comp from Charge because we've seen this comp a bit, right? And it's a good comp, where you can abuse some composition, you get countered by some compositions. And it's based around bubbling the Doomfist and then going really aggro with Doomfist and using him as the main tank kind of, right? While the rest of Charge supports him. But what is bad here for the Charge is that Tracer Genji isn't easy to punch. Stupid question, but they use Chinese keyboards have a W key? I have no clue, but I assume they just use a WSD keyboards. Or they have like double keyboards, right? Where they have the AWSD and then they also have Chinese letters, maybe? I don't think anyone in this game is Chinese, though. Oh yeah, Gushue is Chinese. Never mind, I'm stupid.
The objective is now active.
So let's see what's going on here. So generally the Charge want to move together, right? They really want to play off the bubble Doomfist. And Spark is splitting up very hard. They really want to keep their backline away from the Doomfist because they're basically the only one that can die against the Doom Punch. I guess the ball can die to him too, but the ball is really slippery and has a lot of HP. But what happens is Bebe just dies. How does Bebe die? I guess they're rotating away and they get mated. Gets shot once. Doesn't get the armor pack. That one goes to Godspeed. And then he gets shot and naded by Shu. IDK really needs to pack in there. But and then wow. After Bebe dies, it's very hard for the Spark to still win, right? Because that's a lot of their healing gone and their Discord target. Discord is very, very good. Nero comes in. Kind of wrecks. Bozzy too. Yeah, they just have to back out. Even though they capped the point earlier. Bebe dying there is very, very bad for the Spark. Thank you for the follow, Dreg. Thank you guys for all the follows today. Found like 10. IDK doesn't die, just barely. And now this is hard to retake, right? Because now Krong has energy. And when Krong has energy, he's going to do a lot of work. But when Krong has to retake with 0 energy, he's not going to do a lot. Happy also has a pulse bomb. Comes in, is he going to stick him? Oh, he tries to kill IDK, just barely doesn't. That's a shame. Risky moves, but okay. So Charge give up space. This is okay, right? Because they have the point, and they kind of just want to set up Nero to get a good punch on somebody that walks in, or a good E, right? Just a good series of combos. And they really want to play around Nero with this combo. Oh, Nero goes to 1 HP but gets the nano and the bubble. He goes on Bebe. Oh, he finds Bebe here. Oh, Bebe gets Matrix really well by Assassin actually. Good Matrix usage. He gets out. Oh my god. Happy also does not kill Bebe. Nero. Dude, Nano Doom is so unkillable. Kinda crazy. But yeah, eventually Bozzy gets punched. Oh, Krong drops off the map. That's really big. Since Krong is the one that has the energy, right? He's the one that dictates the engages with the bubbles. And if he dies, hard for him to regain the energy. Oh, he's gonna get booped, isn't he? Yeah, he's already booped off the map. He didn't jump off it himself, and then he hits himself, so he doesn't give the ult charge to Gushue. A massive brain play there from Krong to not give away ult charge by hitting the wall with his right click, but it looks like he suicides. Okay, Nero ends up dying to Gushue as well. So Gushue is doing a lot of. Please don't tell me you slammed in there. Gushue, I was just praising you. Nice boop. Gonna go in the second boop to kill Nero. And then he gets booped and he tries to get back up with the pile driver, but it launches him into the abyss. I wonder if he could have like landed up here. How did they remember all those? I don't know.
Time's up.
But now, Charge are still kind of even. Rio has gotten back. Like Rio's on the ball still. He uses ult. Wow, Godspeed Blades, but again, Naked Blade is rough, dude. It's hard to get value with Genji Blade. And the enemy team is rallying too. How's the happy Tracy? I mean, it hasn't been that great so far, but Fury does decent. Dude, he just blades into a rally and dies. He hasn't played that much Tracer this whole series. This is the first map that he's on Tracer. And they're winning, so must be doing something right. Okay, Neo gets another one. Oh, Nero goes in with the bubble. He's like a heat-seeking missile for the Zen. But I don't think he should be able to kill the Zen here. I don't know why. I think...
Time to raise my AP.
Where is... Oh, IDK's dead. Okay, that makes sense. Then he can dive.
Game on.
Oh, and then he does end up dying. 2 to dive. A good dive there from Charge so far. And generally, they've been like beating the odds, I feel, with the Doom comp. Like, the Doom's been getting a lot of value, being a heat-seeking missile for the Zen. And now you see a counter swap, a countermeasure come out from Spark, right? This is something we saw in Korean contenders, where they pick Zarya to counter the Zarya Doom, right? Because you can bubble the person that the Doom jumps on, and then the Doom doesn't get any value, right, basically. It's very up to Assassin to have good bubbles, and for them to like stay together, not die to the pressure from Charge. But again, they have 0 ults, right? So it's like a rough swap here.
I'm coming for you all.
Nero gets nanoed, but again, it's hard to get value into this comp right now. Gushui gets punched and gets bubbled a little too late. So he's Reinhardt, he's okay. That comes out. Oh, and that makes them C9. Wow. The grab makes them C9. So Spark was a little too slow in moving. Didn't consider the grab. Also, they're getting engaged on pretty hard. And they just get booped. Bazzi gets booped. And then they get grabbed right in the middle of them. IDK was gonna touch, but it gets pulled from the other side. Oh, that's so sad. That's how Spark wins this one. Wow. Oh, I actually think that if maybe it doesn't get like... doesn't die there really early on, then Spark comp wins that first fight. But after first fight, it becomes very hard because the Zarya is like so high energy and he's just sitting on you. What happens now? Oh boy. What's happening here? Go back, we go back. Okay. So Spark goes with a very high shield composition. So I assume their plan is to sit on point and play from that side of the map. Yeah. Because this comp doesn't do too well into the Doom, I think. It does pretty well into the enemy rank comp. But not sure what the plan here is for Spark. Maybe it's just to sit on point and like kill the people that go to point. Have shields on both sides of the point with the Ryan and the Sigma, right? But then you wouldn't really play the Hangzhou. And Charge here. Look, there's play mystery here at this point. They've got the Fair Mercy, which Village is obviously a good map for it. They've got the Zarya ball combo, so they can bubble the ball in and he can roll around and do stuff. And then they've also got the Moira. I don't know about Moira here. I think Moira you pick if you want to live, if you expect dive from the enemy team. So maybe Charge expected Genji Tracer here, and they just wanted to pick something that lives. So we've gone down the rabbit hole here. Is Doom, Tracer, Ball, Zarya, Brig, Ana the best comp right now? No, I don't think so. I think there's a few comps that beat that comp. If you watch Korean contenders, which I think was really high level of play, they actually countered that comp with a Mei Reaper comp. And just played really aggressive. So I think while Doom is very good and you can play around him, there are counters. Definitely. So I don't think it's the best comp right now. I think Mei comps are really, really strong. I think the best teams will still play the Mei comps. Okay, so let's see what's going on now. Charge plays a Chaos comp. Spark's playing a Chaos comp. I think Spark just wants to sit on point maybe with the Ryan. But I'm honestly not sure anymore.
The objective is
Bazzi just kills Happy. Dude, Bazzi's a sniper on the May. Oh my god, he just picks him. Okay. For May Reaper, what tank and support combo do you use? You use Anna, Brig, and Ryan Diva. Is what they used in... Oh no, they used Ryan Zarya actually in Korean contenders. Because Zarya kind of eats Divas alive. So they picked the Zarya to counter the Doom to bubble the person that the Doom goes on. And I think that's pretty smart. And the Zarya himself can also step in front of the Doom with his bubble to counter the Doom punch. So Zarya just does pretty well against Doom in general. Okay, so they pick Happy and they freeze and charge Rio. Nero picks. Well, and then Shu dies too. And now Spark's just gonna sit on point. But we know that Gushu or that's the Charge is gonna win this map. So I wonder how. Maybe it's a barrage from Nero while he's bubbled. I think the Nero barrage is to get big value here. He farmed it really fast though. Okay, they're sitting above the point. Because you bubble the Pharah while he's ulting so he can't get stunned by the rock. And you can just get more value out of the ult. I was watching Nero here. Oh, is he gonna go for it? Going for it. Ult! Oh, he didn't ult. He's just messing with him. He baited him. Okay, and then he finally uses it. Doesn't get bubbled, but there was a lot of chaos on that point, actually. Rewatch that fight, but there's a lot going on there. Yeah, Gushue and Assassin are just set up on point. They're just holding it together, holding down the fort while getting healed. IDK uses his ult in the little room. They use a wall too. Gushue keeps on getting healed. Assassin goes really low actually. He gets it back out and he gets ulted. Godspeed meanwhile on Krong. I guess they're just playing the Moira to stay alive against the Tracer. Gushue, you random pin. But yeah, this fight should be won for the Charge. Bebe uses the Trank to stall the point. So that's an okay move if they can like turn it around, right? But Bazzi's not there right now and he is the male. Which could be the big fight changer here. Male's very good on this point. Nero kills Bebe. Oh, Nero gets stuck. He's fine apparently. Oh, is Nero gonna die here? No, he's not. Godsby ends up dying. Shu dies. I don't know how Shu dies on the Moira. What is happening? Dude, I guess he's just getting sat on by Godsby right now. What I assume. Yeah, Godsby's just sitting on him. Oh wow, Godsby like almost one-clipped him. Has to shift away. And then he randomly walks into a fire strike. Why not go Brig? Brig Mercy doesn't have any healing Banter life. Brig Mercy is a really bad support combo. Brig is to support your flex support if you're playing like an Ana. But Mercy doesn't really need supporting. Okay. It's a mess. But Charge has got the point finally. And Spark's trying with a lot of ults to recap it. If they use the May ult here too, please don't do it, Bozzy. Please don't do it. I don't think he's gonna do it, guys. I think he's smart. He's a smart man. It's pretty hard to get value out of the May ult here. Okay, so they swap to... Wow. Spark full swap the comp. Because they have to only win one fight, I guess. That's why they're full swapping. I would like to have seen them go D.Va, actually, if they're playing against the Pharah. I think D.Va shits on Pharah really hard, and you can kind of avoid the enemy Zarya. It's hard to get energy while you're retaking too, right? Oh, they're swapping even more. Oh my god, they swapped the dive comp. Interesting. I think dive comp's okay here. For Spark. It's gonna be hard to, like, you know, win a fight quickly though. They have to, like, set up properly. They have to force the point with Tracer and Ball maybe. And then they have to actually set up their dive too. Brig is obviously really good against the Tracer. But it's going to be up to Assassin to sit on the enemy Pharah really well. Who's going to be very aggressive. Oh, Nero's so high, dude. The sky gap on this map is crazy. He's really high in the air. Yeah. Assassin goes. Guess he goes for Pharah Mercy here. Good. Pretty awkward though. Going for the health pack. Nice job, Assassin. What's going on over here though? Q is trying to snipe Neptuno out. Oh. But Assassin kind of backs out. Maybe he could have went on Neptuno there to get her with Shu. But not sure. This full swap from Spark is very rough because they have no ults. Like, they're not even close to anything. And Charge have Grav Pulse here, right? So they can just, like, use some ults this fight, save some ults for the next fight, and then use those too. And I think even in, like, 2 fights, it's going to be very hard for Spark to build up a lot of ultimates. A Spark full swap in the comp might have screwed them. Even though they're getting given a lot of space here, right? Even killed. Assassin's dead right now. They really want to kill Krong because he has the energy. But he's also going to get pocketed by the Moira.
Justice reigns from above.
Yeah, I don't know if swapping to dive here was the play for Spark. End up killing Miro. But at this point, they're already 2 down. So this fight's lost. They have to reset. And as I was saying, right, Spark still isn't really close to any ultimates, while Krog still has the grab. So if Krog can get a good grab this fight, hard to get value against dive. I mean, yeah, but it's hard to get value out of Pharah against D.Va anyway. But maybe Spark just, like, went back to comfort picks too, right? Because I know there's a lot of dive plays for the Chinese teams. Anyway. Shu gets pushed out by Gushui. And Spark, again, got given a lot of space, right? They have a lot of space. If you look at the map right now, Nero and Neptuno are the only ones really creating a lot of space here for Guangzhou, because the rest is just really far back. And I feel like they're kind of playing around Krong to get a big grab here. But maybe Spark can send Rio to touch point or Gushui to touch point and then go for this Pharah Mercy pairing. They are really high up though. Nero has jump too. He doesn't have jump right now. But it's very hard for the D.Va to get to them right. Wrong. Looking for the grab. They also mine point. Mine's really good on point right if you have to touch. Oh, Ozzy. Oh no. It's a Charlie.
Victory.
It's a Charlie Niner. And the Guangzhou Charge win. Wow. So we went from spam mirror in like the first half of that map. Like basically every map was a spam mirror early on. And then on this map, suddenly it turns to complete chaos and everybody starts playing different comps and it's wild. And I think that's the pressure too. Like if you pull out things against people that haven't played against that stuff before, like let's say you're the Spark, right? And they don't play against Fair Mercy that much. And suddenly you pull out the Fair Mercy against them, they're going to panic and they're going to be like, what is this comp? What do we have to do, you know? So if you're going to do that kind of stuff, I really feel like map 5 and stuff are like the time to pull out pocket picks like the Fair Mercy for Nero there. And he did a great job on the Fair, right? Anyway, thank you very much for watching this VOD review. And I'll see you guys in the next one for the people watching on YouTube.